stuff, right? There we go.
I thought of a name for the RPG Maker segment.
Oh, you did? Oh, we've got another segment tonight? We got more?
I figured I would have nothing but segments.
Oh, good. I have like one segment.
Fantastic.
Yeah. I've got like 1.5.
There you go.
Because y'all know what I played.
Yeah, buddy. I've played the thing that you played.
I know, you didn't finish it though, right?
No,
or did you?
I finished the Urge, but it didn't really leave an impression on me.
Yeah.
It's just kind of, there's that. It's okay. I didn't hate it.
Wait, you finished which one?
I finished Yakuza 3 back in the day.
Oh, gotcha.
On PS3.
You've got some Yakuza experience, way more than I do.
Yeah. I played 12 hours of Yakuza 0 and then quit. and then that's the best one! I played 12.
I have Yakuza 0 and Final Fantasy VII Remake on my shelf ready.
Oh my God.
There you go.
For me to jump in, and E7 installed on my computer.
Just anytime, man. Just ready to go.
Anytime I want to jump in. I got Umineko too. I got Trail Zero. I don't actually have Trail Zero, but I'm ready to buy it whenever.
Yeah.
Whenever.
Whenever that urge hits. Oh, Jetstorm. Welcome.
Oh,
John just has this glut of backlog games that are good, and I look at mine and I just go,
is it good? Yo, Tengu, thank you for the 1,000 bits. We got a new host sound. I think people will like.
Is it not the gigantic fart?
No, it's not the gigantic fart. It's not the Mr. Belding thing anymore. No.
Was it the scream? Like, ha ha ha?
Like, you remember that scream? That was the Mr. Belding thing, where I chopped and screwed Mr. Belding's laugh for Eric. But now our hosting is something from the Higurashi streams that I think people would like.
Oh, God. That old one.
Very good.
It really could cause a jump scare in the Higurashi
I know,
stream.
it was so good!
It was so loud.
I love it so much.
God, I remember popping into one of those, I think it was like one of the Saturday streams, and you're getting like a really sad moment about Satoko in general, and I just subscribe on purpose to get the fart sound.
There's a couple times where I was like, this would be a very funny time to drop a knee pop. And I'm not going to, actually.
Everybody's got you covered there. Everybody knows when to drop those things now. They are saving those points for the moments that matter.
So with the knee paw, though, you see it coming because you have to be the one to stop and actually do it.
Yeah.
With the
farts.
subscriber, the host.
With the farts. There you go. Thanks, Peter. Good stuff. Yeah. Jetstorm was playing Shadow the Hedgehog. That good video game. It's about time he played a good.
Oh, hell
stream.
yeah!
It's about time he played a good video game on his stream. He's gonna play Banjo-Tooie next.
Sonic game, finally.
Yeah, right. Banjo-Tooie's next.
I need to prep the segments ahead of time instead of hurriedly being like,
God.
Let's browse.
Yeah, well, we got a few more
minutes.
Wait,
do you not have the songs picked?
Oh, okay.
Do you have songs picked? Or do you not have songs
I have a couple. I'm looking around a little bit.
John.
Yeah.
John. That's not how preparing a podcast works.
Oh, I'm trying to. Oh well. I got one.
Why do I put up with this? I do this willingly.
I need to buy the new McElroy book on how to podcast good.
There you go.
And then I'll really just play my game and then how we can up our engagement.
Oh my God. Like, what is that book even going to be? Like, is it a comedy book or is it just like a really like here's the proper way to engage with your audience to ensure maximum subscribers as well as maximum engagement with advertisers.
They call up Extreme Restraints.
There you go.
The one employer that probably would actually advertise with our podcast at this point.
You know what? I'll hit him up. I'll hit him up and see if they want in.
Oh yeah.
Look, man, I am always in the market for new restraints, and if they're going to give some away for free, you know, I'll take that action. I'm into the bondage.
Yeah, I'm here for it.
There you go.
Yep.
Polly literally selling sex toys on her Twitter.
Yeah, I was actually.
Hey.
You bought a Fukuoka massage glove. You bought the massage glove. How'd that go?
Very well.
Oh yeah.
Like I said, I got a very positive review from the special friend.
I told you these things are amazing.
You said like 10 years ago.
I said this.
It was at the bottom of your.
It was my fucking Star Fox Assault review.
Star Fox Assault review.
Wow, that's going back.
That's
a bit.
way fucking back, man. I sold a Fukuoka massage glove, and somebody bought a fleshlight. They contacted me and told me.
Wait, another one?
Oh, yeah.
No. I've bought fleshlights for friends because they were too scared to do it themselves because they thought the package would arrive and not be inconspicuous enough when it's totally like you'll never know because it doesn't say sex toy inside. But no, somebody on Twitter saw me saying that like I have bought them for people before, and they were like, "I bought one just because you mentioned it." And I was like, "Okay, hope you enjoy."
Jeez.
Yeah. So
different tips on how to wash it, apparently.
Yeah, you warm water. You need to use warm water, and only warm water. They do have a disinfectant spray that you use every few times. It's not that big a deal, but just run some warm water through it. That'll get it clean. That'll be fine. Yeah. And only use water-based lubricants.
That's the one.
They make very good lubricants that they sell on their site. I've used their lubricants before. They're very good.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Hey, Polly, how do you clean the Fukuoka massage glove?
John, you just
does it
clean it?
Just throw it in the dishwasher or something,
John,
or the
John,
washing machine?
It's waterproof, John.
Just
run some water over it. Soap it up a little bit.
Just run some water over it.
You'll be fine.
Right.
It'll be good. They do sell sex toy disinfectant. If you're worried about that, just buy some, spray it on. Like suds it up a little bit, wash it off. You're good. You're fine. Easy peasy. Cool. And that has been your Sex Toy Minute. At the beginning of your latest episode of the Sockscast, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Sockscast, episode 127. We are brought to you, as always, by Moon Pies. Moon Pies. Thanks for fucking voting. We appreciate it.
Oh my god.
Yeah, like 2 weeks ago.
Was right beforehand, wasn't it?
2 weeks ago was rough. Yeah, like that was oh boy, there was so much going on. Oh, but we're moderately relaxed now. We're not going to.
We're still not out of the woods.
We're not out of the woods. We're not out of the woods. But it's okay to have that moment where you breathe a little sigh of relief, and you could say, "Okay, a little part of the insanity that has ruled my life for the past 4 years will be gone shortly." So we can at least say.
I told everybody in like August. I told friends.
Mm-hmm.
When I found out the release date for Ys 9 was February 3rd.
Yeah.
So I told friends, on February 3rd, I want Trump to not be president anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I want a vaccine to be getting rolled out to high-risk people for COVID. And I want to be playing Ys 9. And so far, looks like all three of those are on track.
It sounds like all of those are going to track. Thank you, Tengu, for the gift subs. Much appreciated. You're a beautiful, beautiful son of a bitch. But yeah, it sounds like all of that's going to come to pass. We're all feeling great,
which is pretty nice.
I think it sounds like you're a little early on the vaccine part, but yeah.
But we're getting there.
I mean, I heard the article. It sounds like we're getting.
My understanding from talking to somebody on the front lines is that they're going to be rolling it out early January, February to frontliners if everything stays looking as good as it is right now. So frontliners like hospital workers and places like that are going to get it first, and then March and April for the rest of the populace. So hopefully all of that kind of, yeah, but it's sounding like a lot of your prophecies and a lot of your visions are coming in nice and hot. We're gonna try to enjoy 2021 a little bit, maybe. Hopefully.
I think that sounds really nice.
You know what else sounds really nice? Ladies and gentlemen, it is that time again. It is the end of the year. And
How is it the end of the year? We're still in March.
It's the end of the year, and everyone that is listening to this podcast and everyone that is hosting this we love lists. We just can't get enough. And we're gonna be making some lists, and we would like to invite you to join us in making some lists as well. So if you've listened to us at all, if you've been with us at any time over the last 6 years, you know how this goes. But if this is your first time, if this is your first rodeo, if we are popping your cherry, then let's break it down for you. So we're going to be doing end of the year game of the year podcasts. We usually do these. These usually roll out through Christmas week or so. But what we need you to do in order to participate is we need to get yourself an ordered or unordered list of 3 games that you played this year. Now, note, they don't have to be released this year. If you played a game this year and you like it a lot, you want to wank off about it, boom, put it on that list. So 3 games. And now, after you got your list of 3 games, write yourself a little bit about each one. A small paragraph or 2 should do you. Nobody ever listens to that one though. So
no, they do write full essays.
Yes, they write full.
Maybe just write a little bit. It'll make it easier to write.
Yeah. So 3 games and 3 little blurbs for each one. And I want you to take those, slap that shit into a fresh email, and I want you to send that right on over to podcast@socksmakepeoplesexy.net. Right, where are they sending them?
podcast@socksmakepeoplesexy.net.
What about John? John, where are they sending it?
podcast@socksmakepeoplesexy.net.
Damn, so good, so sharp. We're on the ball this year.
Oh, fuck. I literally had a moment of tension. I just like, oh god, did I get it wrong again?
Oh no! That would have been a pretty funny throwback. I have to say, though. It would have been. So you can do that. Or, hey, you can also send us your list in audio form if you don't want your precious video game thoughts tainted by 3 idiots who can barely read aloud.
God.
I'm way better at that now. If there's anything that reading a visual novel online for people will teach you, it'll make you a way better out loud reader. I think I upped a skill that I didn't know that I needed to while doing that. Oh, that's
true. I think Polly should be doing all of them this year.
Oh god, fuck you.
I would never do that to her.
You'll just read all of them this year, right?
So, getting us your list in audio form, whether you want to talk about
one.
It's a game of chicken now. Who's moving first, motherfucker? Beep, beep. See, John knows his place.
I'm here.
So,
did you cut out? I don't.
If you want to get us your list in audio form, whether you want to talk about it, you want to sing about it, do whatever you want to do about it. You want to do that? The same rules apply. Talk about 3 games. Talk a little bit about each one, sing a little bit about each one. Just whip that up into an MP3 file and send it on over to, where are they sending it to, Rhett?
podcast@socksmakepeoplesexy.net.
John, where are they going to send those audio files if they want to send us an audio format version of their Game of the Year list?
Here, let me make sure I'll dry it up and I can enunciate clearly. podcast@socksmakepeoplesexy.net.
There you go. We will be recording our Game of the Year episodes on the evening of December 13th. So we will need your list in our inbox no later than noon on December 13th. So we want those lists sent to podcast@socksmakepeoplesexy.net no later than noon of December 13th. So you got a little under a month to get everything in. and to completely confound Poncho Smith as to your choices, because I'm sure he will be the one to disagree with most of them. So, but yeah, we're looking forward to Game of the Year this year. It's gonna be great. It always is. So, we hope to hear from our lovely listeners and about all their favorite video game experiences.
It's always fun. It's always really fun to see.
This is always a good time. It's a celebration and positivity. Good times had by all, and we want you to be a part of it. To my immediate virtual right.
I don't know about y'all, but media got me through this year.
Oh yeah,
in some major ways.
Right? You got a cornucopia of things to choose from, and you got to whittle it down to 10.
Wait. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we get 10.
We get 10. Yeah. They don't. They get 3. To my immediate virtual right, he's been the man for 6 years. You've been a bitch all your life. It's Rhett.
Hello.
Hey! How you doing?
I'm doing.
You doing?
It's been a 2 weeks since we last converged.
Oh boy, it's still so fucking much, isn't it?
7,000 years.
It feels like 7,000 years is the thing, especially that first week of just like literally like I have no fingernails left.
Yeah,
it's a disaster. But
what got me through the last 4 years was just truly never actually thinking he would win again.
Yeah.
So Tuesday night, I'm like, oh no.
Yeah, it looked bad. Our early projections,
what's going on?
Early numbers were real bad, but that was because they were, thankfully we know why that was, because I was sitting there Tuesday night literally losing my mind.
Yeah, so I'm like losing my mind. I go to bed, try to calm down. Like things are not, it's not over yet. It's up in the air.
Mm-hmm.
I wake up early Wednesday morning. I look at my phone, and the first fucking thing I see is a fake thumbs up and somebody saying, "We won."
Oh, God. Yeah.
And I just, lose my mind for, 5 minutes until realizing, oh, wait, that was fake. He was lying.
Yeah, he's an idiot. Of course. He's a fucking idiot.
But, just the perfect moment to get me when I'm just waking up and a little lucid and just,
See, I saw that moment happen in real time.
Oh my God.
Of a guy coming out and saying that the election was rigged, but we won. And I'm sitting there at 2:30 in the morning, eyes glazed over, just, what fucking clown shoes reality are we about to slip into? And here we are. But yeah.
Yeah, at this point, the way that he would retain power is to do an actual coup.
That's
not completely out of the realm of possibility.
No.
But it's much, much harder than retaining power through an actual election.
It's something that
it's much less likely.
It's not going to happen with this administration, but they are definitely poking this nest, especially Republicans that are very much kind of siding this way. They're very much trying to poke that little beehive to see what they can get through and what they can get to stick, because it's a dry run for something else.
They're just like, what if we plan our coup on Twitter?
I can have a little coup. I can have a little coup as a treat.
JK, winky face.
Hey.
What if we just keep him as president?
I like what I do. We are the best political podcast, aren't we? To my immediate virtual left, does he live under a bridge, scare kids, and kill squirrels? It's John Thayer.
Hi.
Hey, you.
No comment.
No comment. You got nothing on that right now. Understandable.
I do not live under a bridge.
No.
That's it. That's my comment.
Okay. We can at least guarantee you that John Thayer does not live under a bridge.
That's his press conference. I do not live under a bridge. No further questions.
No question. But you sound like you're ready for a podcast, though. I think we're probably good to go, right? I think we can do that.
I'm pretty ready for a podcast.
All right, well then, Brett, start our podcast.
Y'all know what I did this last 2 weeks.
Jacked off a whole lot.
That was this weekend for sure, but
Mood.
It was. I'm sorry, my throat is gone for some reason. I got a lot of phlegm in there. I don't know what's going on. But Tuesday, election day, I just look at my list of games and I go, well, I've got Yakuza 3 remastered. I'll just sit down and play that. Hey. So I turned it on and I played it all Tuesday, all Wednesday, all Thursday, all Friday, all Saturday, all Sunday, all Monday, all Tuesday, all Wednesday, and then on Thursday and Friday, I finished it.
Hey, you did it! It's a comfort. It's good. Yakuza's good comfort food for you.
Oh my god! It was the right fucking game at the right time.
Those are always great. Those are always great.
That's always a nice feeling.
Yeah.
Like literally, when I wasn't at work, I was at home playing Yakuza.
Yeah.
That's it. That was just mood for almost 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
It's like, so it's weird. So my history with the Yakuza series is kind of funny because I started with 4 and 5 and then looped back to 0 and then the 1 and 2 remakes.
Mm-hmm.
So Yakuza 3 Remastered, they went and redid the PS3 game. So this is me coming full circle finally.
Oh, yeah.
Because, I started with 4 and 5 and then went to the newer ones. So, but this is, it's the remastered, very cleaned up version. Because Yakuza 4 and 5, especially 5, like, those are very bloated games, and like they really were kind of pushing the PS3.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways, like they didn't run particularly great. So like having a version of Yakuza 3 that just runs like a dream and seems very sharp for a PS3 game. Mm-hmm. I think they're probably upscaling it to like 1080p or whatever. Mm. It's just very nice. It just feels very good to play. For 2 weeks straight.
I remember, because I have the PS3 version, and it was kind of like, the only real difference is that, like, they removed, like, the hostess stuff and things like that. But, yeah, that game, even Yakuza 3, kind of ran like ass on the PS3, so it's not the greatest experience, but...
I remember when I first played 4, I was like, oh man, like, the loading between the random fights and stuff, and, like, going inside the buildings, like, everything was just kind of slow and hitchy.
Yeah.
I still finished and really liked that game, but then Yakuza 5, like, 5 has 5 different cities. There's just, like, an enormous amount of shit in that game, and it just maybe felt like it performed even worse.
Oof.
It's like this one, like, everything just loads instantly, pretty much. It's very nice.
That's good.
So, like, but this is the oldest one I've played, so it is kind of weird being like, oh, this is what the series was, like, at its most stripped down, kind of. Like, I'm definitely not interested in going back and playing those PS2 versions. So, like, the main thing I noticed in this is that there's not many side activities.
No. They're, like, the earlier Yakuza games are pretty barren because they're really mostly focused on the story.
There's a lot of story and a lot of side quests, and that's there's a lot of side quests. I think there's like 100 or something.
Yeah, but like the actual side activities, it's pretty barren.
Yeah, like what I noticed is that in the other games, the newer ones, like the main story and the side quests will get you to do those side activities sometimes. Like there's one part in this game where you have to meet with a politician. They're like, oh, he likes golfing, so you go golfing with him. Mm-hmm. That's literally the only time in the main story that you do anything besides fighting and talking.
Yeah.
Is this one part where you go golfing. Whereas, like, an hour into Yakuza 0, you're at karaoke.
Yeah, like, not even an hour. It's literally, like, the minute you hit Kamurocho, you are looking for the nearest karaoke bar.
As just, like, part of the main story. Like, it's just immediate that they start having things. So, like...
Yeah, they're more integrated into the story.
Even the side story stuff where it's like, oh, this character, wants to go on a date. And, oh, let's go to the arcade and, like, play Virtua Fighter or something. Like, they always find ways to work it in. Yakuza 3 does not.
Cousin, do you want to go bowling?
God. Like, there was one side quest in this that, like, a character wanted a tuna so you could go fishing for it. And... tunas are very hard to catch. They're very big. So it's like the hardest fish in the game to get.
Oh, good.
One of them.
Right.
So it's like, okay, I've done the fishing because it was right there at the orphanage. Like, it's the first thing you see. So that's one of the like one side activity I found on my own, like without the game kind of directing me towards it. But then it did anyways. But like, I look up the guide online. Okay, here's how you catch a tuna. You use the shrimp bait, blah, blah, blah. You do 150 deepness or whatever. So I do that for like 10 minutes. And fishing is very hard. Like, it's actually pretty challenging. You got to move the stick and stuff to drag the fish in. So I fail a couple times, and I finally get a couple successful, and it's not a tuna. It's a different fish.
No.
So the quest just gives you an option to give the guy like 300,000 yen instead. So I just did that.
Go buy a fresh tuna,
So
you lazy bastard.
Literally the one side quest I found that has something besides fighting in it also just lets you pay money to bypass the fishing part.
Right.
And then I was looking at the achievements today, and catch a tuna has a 7.5% achievement rate, which is like pretty low.
Yeah.
Because beating the game is like 55%.
Oh wow.
Like, shockingly high.
Jeez.
But I'm saying nobody fucking caught that tuna that quest. So yeah, this is just kind of and those are like the only side quests I did. I think I did the batting cages like once, and it's exactly the same as one of the other games. So it's like, okay, I've done this before. Actually, the first thing I did in Kamurocho was go to the arcade, and there's a Virtual 5 cabinet, and it doesn't let you play it.
What?
I'm like, did they remove that from the remaster? Because they were like, we're not giving Virtual 5 away for $25.
Right.
So I don't know if they removed it or if it just wasn't in this one, because it definitely is in the later games.
Yeah, it definitely is.
So that was weird. There's only one game in the arcade, and no like classic Sega games in the arcade in this one. So yeah, it's very dry on the side activity stuff. The combat is, it's much more simple than some of the later games get. I felt like this is on hard. This one made me understand the combat more than ever before, because it's actually a pretty challenging game. Like, I had to realize, like, oh, if enemies keep blocking, you should try to get behind them.
Yeah, get behind them. Don't they have guard crush moves in that game too? I can't remember.
God, so I was on literally the final boss. And that's when I realized, oh, if you do strong, like 3 strong, weak, heavy, the second heavy, like, does
guard
unblock.
crush.
Yeah. I didn't realize that till the final fucking boss. And then I'm just like, oh, okay, so like this one attack will just always do a little bit of damage. So I just kept doing it over and over.
Nice.
Just relentlessly assault, because like final boss, if he has these different phases, like which kind of colored aura he's emitting, and when he turns blue, if he gets away from you, he'll just start healing.
Yeah.
So once I realized like what was going on, just don't give him an inch the entire time, and it's fine. And then just keep doing that 1 5-hit combo. Because I was like, well, surely there's got to be a way to knock him out of the heal. So I just pull out a gun and start shooting him.
Yeah, that's a good way to stop. That's a good way to stop someone from healing.
He fucking heals faster than the gun.
I love the concessions video games have to make like that, where they want their boss to be hard, but it requires you having to buy the fact that a guy can heal faster than you can shoot him.
The difference, the gameplay concessions they make are insane, because Polly, you've beaten this, like the last area, there's so many guys with guns.
Yeah, it gets ridiculous, because guns in Yakuza games are fucking terrible anyway. But it's real bad.
There's just so many. I've like never seen that many guns, and I've played basically all of them at this point. It was just like, oh, here's a hallway with like 2 guys with shotguns, a couple pistols, and an Uzi. I'm like, this is more than I've ever seen in this game.
It gets ridiculous.
Yeah. So like, you're just blown. So once you knock one down, though, you can just take his gun and shoot everybody else real quickly. So it's actually, I didn't find it that hard, but it's just like crazy. Like, there's a boss that just shoots Kiryu a bunch of times, and like he just falls over. But then when you switch to cutscene mode, one guy takes 1 bullet. Now he's dead.
Now he's dead.
it's just amazing. After that, literally that same boss unloads like a clip into Kiryu, and he just falls over and stands back up. One bullet immediately afterwards kills a different character.
Oh god! Like, I love these dumb concessions you have to make when you're making a video game.
God, so there's a really weird thing when you beat these games. You go into a premium adventure, which is just like, hey, fuck around, you know, finish the side quest, finish. The character that dies comes back in premium adventure. It feels really bad.
It's so dumb.
So he's just back, and then I'm finishing side quests with him that are like really emotional.
Yeah.
Like, probably like 2 of them had like full on CGs. Like probably the side quest they put the most effort into for a character that is supposed to die in the story. It's just like, oh man. It's just weird having missed this stuff, and then just this awkwardness of doing it after in the post game.
It's so good.
That is very funny.
So yeah, it's a very straightforward Yakuza game, like kind of the plainest one I've played, and like the story didn't land for me quite like the others did, where it's a little more confusing than I think it should have been, and then it doesn't have the insane level of twists and reveals at the very end that pretty much all the others do.
Yeah, like that's bread and butter for this series at this point.
Yeah, this one was like, I called who the final boss was going to be like super early, and then it was just right the whole time.
Oh, it's not like, hard. They're not doing a good job of hiding it though either. Like, it's very much the way the character talks and interacts. It's just like, you're the bad guy, aren't you?
Yeah, but like Yakuza 2's ending is like 3 or 4 levels of you beating a character you think is the final boss, and then another character steps out and goes, huh,
now I'm the bad guy.
They were under my control the entire time. I'm the real mastermind. And then you beat that guy, and somebody else comes out and is like, they all have played directly into my plans. I'm the real mastermind. Like, Yakuza 2's ending is fucking crazy, and Yakuza 4 is also just insanity, and I don't even remember 5. Like, I kind of want to revisit. I'm probably going to hook up my PS3 just to watch the cutscenes from 4 and 5 again.
Yeah.
And then maybe just run around those worlds a bit and see how they perform. It's like, oh boy, 20 FPS or whatever it is. Because,
back when the Yakuza series didn't have a lot of a budget behind it, like, those were kind of like, They were kind of like their B-tier series for a while, and then it kind of caught on. Now you get some pretty big budget stuff out of them.
Yeah, they've started doing English dubs again, which is
which is real weird. I saw that going into Like a Dragon, that it had an English dub, and it's like at this point, like I don't want to play a Yakuza game with an English dub.
I know, but it's like that and Judgment have English dubs. It's like, okay, I get it. Like, some people just do want that.
Yeah, and so I'm never gonna be that person that's like, oh, I only play my games in Japanese. Like, I'm 100% I support English dubs. So
yeah,
if that's always like I think the 13 Sentinels English dub is like one of the most ridiculously good English dubs I've heard in a very long time.
Cool. So I finished Yakuza on Friday.
The series seems really good.
Yeah. Each game is a little disconnected story-wise, but like after the prologue in this, it basically just goes into an extended epilogue for Yakuza 2, so that was really nice to see.
Oh, neat.
Like they just recap everything just directly. And there's a part in this where like a major character from 2 shows up, and I was just like, I kind of don't remember who you were. Oops. But cool. I know their connection to the story, but it's like, oops, I kind of don't remember you. You didn't make that much of an impression. It is crazy though when it's like,
it seems like.
Go ahead.
It seems like Yakuza just cares a lot about its world and its continuity, and it puts all this love into making each game like this big thing.
Yeah,
and then they go back and remake the old ones, and I don't know, the relationship, the fans have with it seems really nice and seems like the kind of thing I'd really like to be a part of.
That is something that I really love, is that like this is a team that's very dedicated to their series, and the fan like they're very close to their fan base. They deliver the best possible. Like there's just a lot of honest excitement you see that goes into those games. The people making them are like making exactly what they want to make, unabated by the powers that be. Like they're kind of just being allowed to do whatever they want, or else something like a dragon could not exist. Because that's a big fucking change. And I don't know how they talked Sega into letting them do that. And then like I love the reveal that it was like an April Fool's joke. It feels like they were testing the water to see what people would think when Like a Dragon was kind of like just pitched as an April Fool's joke, and then it ends up being a real thing. It's so good.
Yeah. For those that don't know, Yakuza 7 Like a Dragon is a turn-based JRPG. Yeah. It is not a beat-em-up. Like, that's a huge fucking shift.
Fantastic.
It's so good.
Amazing.
Like, I love... Like, that's so much balls that you don't see in games these days. And, like, I have so much respect for that pivot.
Everyone is just kind of...
Like the one I always think back to is that Dragon Quest IX was originally going to be an action RPG.
Yeah.
And they announced that, and then people were really pissed. And then people were like, "Oh, sorry, never mind. It'll be turn-based. It'll be just like Dragon Quest VIII. Don't worry."
Yeah.
So yeah, balls.
I kind of feel like we might see something like that from the Japanese fan base, where I'm not sure if they were actually super high on this game.
It seems to kind of be reviewing a little. It seems to be like the reviews are a little more tepid than I was hoping they would be.
Well, it came out last year in Japan.
Yeah.
It took a year to get.
I watched a couple people stream bits and pieces of the Japanese version, and they didn't sound excited while playing it, so it was kind of it was a little bit of a bummer. But we'll see. I think like my friend Revan, he's a big Yakuza fan. He's like the biggest Yakuza fan I know. And he seems to be enjoying it. He'll admit that there's faults with it, but he seems to be enjoying himself regardless. You know, so I think that like if you like that atmosphere, you're not too bothered by such a drastic change, which I think is a lot probably to ask, honestly. But
it's weird that they just did Judgment, which had the exact same combat as Yakuza, and then changed Yakuza into the turn-based RPG thing.
That's such. Again, it's like I admire that move. I think it's ballsy as fuck, and I admire them for it.
It just feels like, the side series game with the lawyer as your detective, I forget what he was. That's not the one that de-emphasizes the action combat. That's what's kind of weird, you know. It's like, I think if they had done it in what was clearly a spin-off, there wouldn't have been a backlash.
No.
I think it's doing it as Yakuza 7 that people are like, what? Where's the beat 'em up?
Yeah.
But I think the Western fan base seems much more receptive to it.
Oh, yeah.
And the fact that like that's an Xbox Series launch game exclusive is wild.
That's bonkers to me. That's not a move I could have predicted.
I mean, these launches are ridiculous. You have Yakuza on Xbox and then Demon's Souls on PlayStation.
It's pretty crazy.
A game that Sony didn't publish over here because they didn't like it. They've gave it to Atlas.
Yeah.
Like, remember, Sony didn't give a fuck 10 years ago.
Yeah. How one console generation changes people's tunes. Jesus Christ.
Seriously.
Right, do you have a PS5 yet?
No.
Dang.
Oh yeah, so that was the epilogue to the story, is that I finished Yakuza on Friday, sat around for 2 days, and then just ordered Yakuza 6.
There you go.
Like,
might
fuck
it. Like, you know what? Like, at this point, I think comfort food, you deserve all the comfort food you can get. Why not, right?
Yeah.
We're going into Thanksgiving. Eat all the comfort food.
If you can be in fixation mode right now, I feel like that helps a lot.
Yeah.
If you can keep that streak going, just keep that streak going.
Yeah.
Where you've got a thing you're thinking about all day that you're excited to get home to play, and then that just keeps going like that.
Yeah, like
it is
for a lot.
Yeah. It is wild because I always thought getting through Yakuza, because I was insistent on just playing them all in order after I did 0, 1, and 2. I was like, well, obviously I have to play 3 next, and then complete that circle. So I always thought this was going to be a slog to get through because it was the oldest game.
Mm.
So the fact that I just kind of effortlessly breezed through it,
Yeah.
never ever being bored once, all the orphanage shit, I was 100% here for that. The one time in this game that I was like, oh, maybe I am getting a little bored of these games is when you go back to Kamurocho.
Oh, wow.
It was like, yep, we're back in the same city again. And it's the most basic version of all of them that I've played so far. Where it's oh yeah, also half the mini games are gone.
Yep.
We've got Mahjong and poker.
Hey, Mahjong is good, Rhett.
I don't know how to play Mahjong. The achievements for if you look at the achievements, the ones for the real Japanese games are 1%.
Oh no! Oh no! Those I saw a lot of people learning Mahjong because that new Clubhouse games came out on Switch, and a bunch of people were wanting to learn to play because they got a really good Riichi Mahjong in that collection. So it was just it was cool to see people learning it from that.
Cool.
Yeah, I see multiple folks, non-Socks folks, on my timeline learning Mahjong right now, and they're also the folks who are playing Higurashi.
Yeah, Higurashi is exactly what triggered it here in our little circle, is because we got to that scene in Himatsubushi, and it was just dude, actually, what if Mahjong is super fucking tight though? It's so good. It's weird that Higurashi's having such a fucking zenith right now. It's just it is the zeitgeist all over again. It's 2006.
It's really weird.
It's 2006, and we're all fucking dialed in again. I'm gonna take responsibility for this one, though. I'm gonna say I'm the one that caused all of it.
It is especially weird timing for there also to be a new anime.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It was
There were several friends though that jumped in this year into Higurashi before your streams. It's wild.
I have seen new people picking this up all fucking year. It's just so bizarre to me. And I'm glad that they're coming in with the visual novels for the most part too. Most people are picking up the VNs and going at it. Cool. And I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with just watching the anime if that's what you want to do, but so many people are just going after those visual novels like crazy. I have to imagine, Manga Gamer has seen quite a spike in that series this year. I have to imagine.
I mean, I would hope so, because I feel what triggered it was them releasing the 8th one finally.
Releasing the 8th one, and they're giving away Onikakushi until a COVID vaccine is available. So.
I swear, I thought Onikakushi was just free on Steam already.
No. No. There is a long demo. He is a fan of the really long demo. I think you can get, the first, 8 or 9 chapters, which is a lot. And then, the last 3 chapters when you buy it. But, yeah. I think it was... Yeah, I think it's, Onikakushi is, 12 chapters.
Yeah.
So, but yeah,
it makes sense though to just really put that one out there. It's hey, get your feet wet,
Yeah,
we've got 7 more to sell you after.
Do that.
Dope as hell.
Yeah, they should absolutely do that with Legend of the Golden Witch as well. You were going to sell a whole. Well, Umineko seems to be doing pretty okay for itself already. I think that for some reason it's bigger than Higurashi, because I see way more people talk about Umineko than I do Higurashi.
That was my experience, was that among VN folks, it seems like Umineko is a bigger scene. But then this year specifically, for some reason, a bunch of folks also jumped into Higurashi.
I think Umineko became so big because it had a really solid fan translation while it was coming out back from 2007 through 2010. The Witch Hunt people were on top of that shit. Rhett were there the whole time. We were waiting with bated breath every fucking time they were about to drop a new translation. We were there day one, and that was literally your entire weekend when you that's it. That's my next 20 hours.
Yeah, that was kind of unprecedented. Where because those releases went by Comiket, so there'd be one in August and one in December.
Yeah,
and they were usually having the August one translated by December.
Yeah,
that's kind of crazy that they were keeping up with that whole thing.
And Ryukishi's always been cool about it. He was just absolutely. So long as people buy the games, I don't care. You do a free translation, it's fine. So it's really cool.
Dope.
And I think they ended up doing Rose Gun Days, like, officially.
They did Rose Gun's Days, and they did Kikonia. Like, they worked... Like Kikonia was a simultaneous release in Japan and the U.S., so Witch Hunt were directly involved with that.
Awesome.
Oh, how cool.
Yeah.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah. Like, they're basically considered the translation branch of 07th expansion now, I believe. I think that's how they label themselves, as kind of like the translation arm, I guess. But yeah, they work directly with Ryukishi now, so that's really cool.
That makes me so happy.
Mm-hmm.
So Polly, what's Syconia?
Well, hey, how's it going, everybody?
Hey.
Hi. So before I dive into that, guess what else I played?
Okay.
I'm playing more Cold Steel 4. So I'm about 45 hours in now, and I'm kind of like, I'm taking this one a bit easier than I have previous games. Like, due in large part to both, holy shit! I am too stressed to play video games right now. And the game the game has a lot of really good natural stopping points that make it easy to kind of stop for a day or two for a breather. Because hey, guess what? It's like the final game of this arc. And it's really intense, and a lot of, like, when the big shit happens, and it leaves you feeling like you got rolled over by a steamroller. It's good at that, but it's also kind of like, I'm savoring it a bit. But I figure next day or two, I'm basically gonna hit go mode on this one, because there's not really anything else I want to play right now. And especially, like, after this week, because this is my last work week of the year, so especially next week, just diving in nonstop. Like, this game will be finished by next podcast, no doubt. So I'll have final thoughts on Cold Steel 4 next episode. But to continue the train of thought that we were on, I did read Kikonia When They Cry Phase 1 for You the Replaceable Ones, which is a fantastic title, if I do say it myself.
Yeah, definitely.
Hey, I'm irreplaceable. Don't call me that.
I like how it ties the title really.
Yourself, not for us.
No. Nobody agrees.
Oh, okay. Didn't work out the second time.
No.
Continue.
So, this one's okay. So, geez, Kikonia When They Cry. What is Kikonia When They Cry? So, it's kind of a big old...
What's a Kikonia?
What's a Kikonia? Well, that is a stork.
Yeah.
You remember Bird Bug Bug? We played that in kindergarten, but everybody acts like they don't know what Bird Bug is. I was like, whatever, man. Whatever. Bug bird bird. Everybody fucking, you say that to anybody, they'll know what you're saying. You say bug bird, they'll fucking get it. I guarantee you. So Kikonia When They Cry, like I said, it's a pretty significant departure from what most might consider like the Ryukishi formula. Kikonia is like, this is a sci-fi action fantasy type story.
Oh my god.
And it takes place in sort of like a pseudo utopia that was created 100 years after World War III. And basically, like, the world was sort of left decimated after World War III. It was almost kind of flung into a nuclear winter. And basically, like, nanomachines basically are keeping the planet alive and restoring society to what we now have in this, like, futuristic utopia where, like, you've got these children who have these gauntlets, and they're like the cutting edge of high-tech weaponry, where like it allows them to fly really fast, and it also, like, for some reason they've got a dimensional pocket where they can literally just pull out any weapon they want. It's just a real it's a good excuse to have big dumb sky battles, basically. It's a big dumb excuse to have big Toho like battles that I'm sure are going to be a big part of what this series is going to be. But they play on this a lot. So from the jump, it's set up to kind of put you in the mindset of, like, just big and dumb. It's the prologue. Like, when you load up the game the first time, you don't even get kicked to the title screen. It's just a propaganda video for Gauntlets and Gauntlet Knights, and it's really super good.
Cool.
It's like, imagine the entire military might of an entire nation inside one child's left arm. and it's so good.
Okay,
it's not voiced over or anything, obviously, but like the he's clearly using a lot of fun new transitions and video effects that like. Whatever they've done to end scripter, this game's super advanced because they're using a lot of crazy video effects and 3D shit now, and this game's got a hell of a presentation. Cool. And you get a lot of that in just this opening scene before the title screen even ever comes up, and it's real good at kind of keying you in on where the story starts. So, Kikonia is sort of different in that like. You know how like you look at Higurashi and you look at Umineko, and those are sort of isolated settings where, like, you've got one village, which is sort of the main setting for Higurashi, and then you've got Rokenjima Island and the mansion for Umineko. Whereas in Kikonia, all the world's the stage this time around, and he does a very, very good job. Throughout this whole story. My favorite part of this is the way that he presents this world and paints this sort of like reborn, duct taped together post-apocalyptic world, like where like all nations get along, like we've eradicated most horrible diseases, there's scientific breakthroughs everywhere. It's the works. It's almost like it's too good to be true. But it's a world that's also just like, hey, guess what? We're also teetering on the edge of war because humanity is complacent and greedy and stupid, and that's sort of your main hook. There is that like we're this brilliant society that's teetering on the edge of repeating history because humanity's fucking dumb. Guess what, guys? Like. Ryukishi has a lot of opinions about the world and a lot about adults, about politics. And this is the game where he's throwing most of them at you. Just they're not even analogies anymore. It's just literal narration. By the way, adults are fucking stupid. Might as well be. But yeah, like the world that the world that he presents here is really, really well done and put together. It's so believable. It's easy to kind of get yourself into the mindset of like what he's describing, what you're seeing, and understanding how this world works and how relations between all the various factions work, because he's really put a lot of thought into all of that stuff and is good at explaining it all. So another cool thing is that Ryukishi wanted to do a game that had a lot of representation from around the world, because in the last 15 or so years, he's recognized that his works have become pretty renowned outside of Japan, and he's said that like Kikonia is kind of his way of thanking his fans around the world by hopefully giving them something that they can relate to as well. So this is a game where there are characters from like every country that you could think of. Every religion, every culture, different gender identities. Like, he's really trying hard. Like, this game has, like, no less than 30 to 40 characters, and he's trying real hard. And there's a lot of real work put in, I think, to make sure that these characters aren't stereotypes either. I feel like he probably did a lot of research to make sure that he wasn't being purposefully offensive to anybody or trying to create stereotypes, but actual, characters that could represent the countries and the cultures from where they're from. And I think that comes through really, really sincerely in a lot of the writing and the way the characters are designed, the way that they interact with one another, the way that they express their ideals, the way they explain their own cultures. Like, it just feels very researched. I could be wrong. Maybe he fucked up a lot, but from the things that I did look up, because characters will say things, and like I would get curious and go look. It's like, okay, you researched that. From what I can tell, he did a lot of really good research to make sure that this stuff came together and felt really sincere. So I think that's a really cool thing that he wanted to give back to his fan base, is to like make everybody feel like they're a part of this experience, and I think that's super rad.
Yeah.
And so like all the characters are broken up into like the 5 major world factions, each one having like there are like 2 teams with 3 gauntlet users apiece, except one of them has 2, and you'll probably spend like a good deal of time in the main menu you're going to want to be looking at their bios, because if you're not great at remembering ethnic names and what factions they belong to, oh boy, yeah, you're gonna want to get used to memorizing a lot of 3-letter acronyms. The game is real heavy on these kind of things. I feel like it needed a codex for some of its terminology, because I think it gets a little much where it's just like, okay, what is COU again? What is AOU? What is B3W? Oh, Jesus. It gets a little, like, by the end of the game, I was fine. Like, I know who's who. I know who's from what faction. I know what they do. But, like, there's just, like, it's kind of like Umineko. You know how Umineko's got the character chart where you can go in and see, like, who's who, like, what their name is, what their role in the story is. Well, this kind of expands on that more by giving you, like, a detailed list of their abilities, and just, like, it smacks of Fate in a way.
Oh boy!
Where it's just like,
I was gonna say it sounds like a little like Metal Gear.
It's got like the way that it's.
Fair?
I get like weird visual novels that try to have rules to everything, where it's just like this
excellent.
Here's this like, if you go into the menu, like, here's this character's special ability. Here's that special ability's rank, whatever SS means. You never tell me, but that's the rank of that ability, and then a big explanation of that ability. And it's just like, okay. You really got into this, didn't you? You were having a lot of fun.
Good.
But like, if you go into this and you're having trouble, like, just kind of maybe spend maybe one of your sessions going over that character chart and learning who's who, because it's going to get confusing. I think that's probably one of the bigger problems, is that this game throws a lot of shit at you right up front. Like Umineko, I think, can be a little overwhelming at first, but I think it's really good at kind of spacing that stuff out, where it's introducing new characters and stuff, like where you kind of gradually get introduced to the family, whereas this kind of just spends the first 3 chapters throwing characters at you nonstop. And it's just it's a little much when it's like a bunch of characters, a bunch of abilities, a bunch of acronyms, and a bunch of factions. And it's like, okay, gonna have to come back to this tomorrow and just study that pause menu for a bit.
It's like an old Russian novel with a family tree at the start. You have to study to understand what's happening.
There you go. So, but the story in and of itself kind of just revolves around the world careening toward what seems like a predestined all-out war. Basically, World War IV is kind of like what we're kind of getting the idea for. And like, all of the main characters who are children, doing what they can to struggle against that and prevent it without bloodshed. But then you have like the adults who are the ones in charge of like the military, and who are just completely these adults who are completely outclassed by these genius super soldier children in every single way. But those children are the ones whose futures are being squandered and used like pieces on a chessboard. And like, boy, if the message isn't really fucking on the nose about what he's saying about adults and what they do to the young's futures, I don't know what to fucking tell you. And that's kind of like the overall basis of the story. There's some other stuff that's kind of getting set up behind the scenes. Like there's some like end game. I call it that end game Higurashi shit, and like early game Umineko shit, where an extra layer is getting tacked on.
Now you're speaking my language.
But the problem,
I was thinking that I heard that he was specifically trying to like make this first phase like essentially the first 4 question arcs of Umineko pacing wise.
Yeah,
does that feel like it makes sense at all?
I think it's rushed. I think that he's getting to maybe to the end of the second chapter of Umineko, but he's doing it in the span of 1 game, and it feels rushed. Not in a good way. But
which makes sense. I mean, like,
a
lot of people had trouble with how slow those first games started in Hideo and Umineko. So it's like, even though we are obviously here for it, because we're the true fans.
We are the true fans. But yeah, like, you get that extra layer of stuff, and like, you know how like I don't know whether this is like just a really super common in just Japanese media, but like the bad guys sitting around and talking about their plans in a really vague way and using a bunch of terminology and proper nouns so that the player and reader have no idea what the fuck they're talking about. This game is like 30% of that.
Oh, God.
And it's just like,
oh, boy.
Okay, you're doing cool stuff here, but it's just like, it smacks of Xenogears as well, where they've got like the triumvirate and like those, the voices on the cube.
That's exactly where my brain went.
Yeah, like, and it's exactly that, because there's like sort of an analogous version of that and called the Three Kings, who are they're like masked dudes who are seemingly pulling all of the strings here. But they like, these scenes are just like constantly proper noun, name of plan, numbers, just like, and I feel that they don't give you enough of an in to make that stuff anything but just really aggravating in this first part. Like, you only understand what's happening in maybe one of these scenes, but the rest of them are just like, everybody's talking so vague and so over your head, and it just kind of got annoying to me, honestly. So yeah, like, you kind of get an idea with that of kind of how the game's story ebbs and flows from chapter to chapter, and like how these characters' ideals are tested of like, we're going to do everything we can to resist resorting to violence because we're going to be the pillars of peace. We are going to make sure that the shitty adults don't ruin the world. And that's a fun conflict, I think. And
it's juicy.
Like, especially right now. Like, this game is like, there are so many passages that I read in this game, and I had to just screenshot them and share them with people because it's like, it's too fucking much. There's so much that's relevant. Like, the things that are happening in this game are so relevant that Ryukishi has actually pushed back the release of Phase 2. Because it's too relevant right now. He doesn't think that it would be tasteful.
Too much.
He doesn't think that it would be tasteful to put things out right now where this story is touching and where it's going. And the apocalypse that it is showing is too fucking real. It's too tangible. And I get that. Shit. And I got that even from the first one. It's just like, whew, coming off of the shit that we just came off of. Yeah. Whoa. Like, I literally started reading this election week, okay? So it was just like, oh boy, there's so much going on here. Oh no! Yeah, like, there's a lot of juicy meat there on that bone that you can get at. Unfortunately, I didn't really come away from this all that convinced. I think the first big issue, like I said... This was
the impression I got from the other friend that read it.
Yeah, the big issue, my first one, is that it's complete character overload. That's my first big issue, is that you can argue that Umineko had a similar problem. But, like, other than the main family, I think that game is real good at sprinkling in the extra characters and its meta layers. Like, it does it tastefully and in a way that doesn't feel overwhelming. This game is just like I said, like, the first 2 or 3 chapters is just cavalcade of new characters and factions and terminology and sides of, like, who's on what side of this whole back and forth, and it just gets to be too much. And the problem is that when you have so many characters, like, and you don't have as big a runtime as you need to flesh them out, then everything kind of starts feeling either frivolous or stretched thin. Because this story very clearly focuses on maybe, like, I would say 5 or 6 of the characters are important, and everybody, like, 75% of the cast, they're either not elaborated on or they're just not around. So it's kind of hard to justify them being there. I guess I also kind of found the climax really deflating too. Like, if you look back at Onikakushi and Legend of the Golden Witch as opening games in their respective series, both games kind of build up to something huge happening, and it leaves you completely stupefied by the end, and you're given a lot to think about and chew on. And Caconia tries with a similar build, like this approach and build to what could very well be World War IV. It's a good build, but the actual climax itself is disorienting in the way that he's trying to present it, because I know what he's trying to do with this scene. Like, it's brilliant. Like, if this was an anime, if this was a visual novel that was being produced with higher production values. I'm not trying to knock the production values because this is a very solid looking game. But there are some things that that the prose isn't explaining very well, or the way it's presented is not coming across. And the scene that they're trying to create it falls weirdly flat. Like, the action feels weirdly underwritten for a series and a game and a cast of characters that are built entirely around this idea of really loud and big sci-fi action battles. Like, if we look back, let's look back at Sumi Horoboshi. That game has a climax with 2 characters, and it goes on for 45 minutes. And it's incredible. This game has a climax of, like, 25 characters that takes place over the course of maybe 25 minutes, and it lands with a resounding thud. And yeah, like, and after you finish, like, the credits started rolling, and I felt real weird. And then it's just like, oh, here's 16 tips that you unlocked at the end, which you should have put these in the main game between chapters, because for the most part, like, 14 of the 16 are just kind of bad slapstick comedy sketches that go on too long. No. They're not very good. And then, like, 2 of them are just kind of telling you something very basic that you probably already surmised through the main game. So this one just kind of left me not feeling much. It bums me out to say that, because it has moments. It has real good moments. Like, there's a moment... There's a moment and a sub-story where this game actually tastefully covers the idea of a trans or non-binary person, like, being in a relationship with a cis person, and, like, how that dynamic works and how they kind of come together to understand one another and ask the questions that need to be asked tastefully and respectfully. And it's handled very well. Like, it's super, super fucking smart. But those big moments, really rules. And, like, the big, like, action moments are really fun too. Like, a lot of the way that he is able to present action now is really good. Like, he's got a lot of crazy video effects and 3D shenanigans that you just didn't have in older engines. But, like, those moments don't really help the whole rise above and be better. It's like, there's a lot of ideals and a lot of politics that I 100% agree with, but that alone isn't gonna hold me. Like, Phase 2 has got a lot of work to do if I'm gonna buy in, because this one it did not land at all, and that hurts to say as a big fan of
course, because we're feeling this series so much right now.
And always having been,
this was basically this was sort of my friend's takeaway from it too. It was just like, hey, there are 30 characters and you are pushing through a lot of story really, really fast, and for this thing trying to be so big, I think just at least for me, like, a big part of what makes Higo so special is how intimate it is. Because it is just this village. Yeah. I'm glad he's doing something new and different. I think that's rad.
Yeah.
But that is, like...
I just have to wonder if...
I convince me, then.
Yeah, like, I have to wonder if this is growing pains from not knowing how to write a story of this scope yet, and we're just kind of feeling it out. Or if maybe he needed to scope the project out more to maybe be 6 games instead of 4, so you could slow down a bit, make things more intimate, and things like that. Like, it just feels like somebody either not quite having their legs yet or trying to get them with the scope. And again, I respect what he's trying to do with wanting to make the fan base feel more a part of something. Like, that's really admirable. But telling a story like that is the scope of the world, the entire world, when you're one person who's doing all of the writing, that's really fucking hard to do.
It's tricky.
Yeah. Like, I think that Umineko and Higurashi work because of those smaller, intimate settings. And, like, if that's the trade-off, is that, like, you have to kind of have a more rushed story, and you've got to have 1,200 characters that you're not going to hear from most of the time. Yeah. Like,
how long was this one?
This one was about 22 hours or so. So it was
that's about 2 arcs of the originals.
Yeah.
At least of Higu question arcs.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, like...
and you are very much bought in by the end of Watanagashi.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You absolutely are. Yeah. Whereas this...
If you aren't by Onikakushi.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, like, whereas this, I'm just... man, it's just... Oof. There's a lot I like, but there's almost an equal amount that I don't like.
I was already kind of like, I'll wait until this sounds like when it's this much setup, I already don't want to just read this and then wait a year and a half and then read the second one. I want to kind of read this one and then read the one that's going to really like pull me in.
Yeah. Like, I'm hoping that maybe Phase 2 can smooth out some of these problems, because it doesn't sound like these issues are just something that are unique to the way that I'm feeling about it. Like, it sounds like looking at Reddit's, looking at forums. So these are kind of similar complaints that other people had, where it's just like, like it's not bad, like it's not out and out terrible or anything. It's just the pacing doesn't feel right, and it's a little too much information overload and not showing the hand enough to make it a little more tantalizing and engaging. I think if you'd leaned if the antagonists could have shown their hand a little more as to, beyond the surface level of what's going on and what they're trying to do, and not spoken so goddamn vague most of the time, I could have bought into that a little more. If we could have just maybe like centered each game maybe around each faction and their specific gauntlet knights, like, I think that they needed to do something a little more along those lines or something. But I guess we'll see going forward, but it ain't going to be anytime soon now, so
it's rough finding out that.
Well, hopefully he has more time to kind of refine now.
Yeah. That's what I'm hoping. Yeah.
Cool.
John!
Thank you for the good thoughts. Yeah?
Oh, what? Yeah. How you doing?
Yes. I mean, I have things.
You want to talk? You want to talk? You want to talk about things?
Yeah.
All right. I want you to talk about
I have a new segment idea.
You have a new segment idea?
I want to pitch to y'all.
Okay.
So, basically, I love making games.
You
All
do.
of us enjoy making games, I think.
Well, I'm not sure
take
enjoy
breaks
is
sometimes
the word
when take breaks sometimes when the world's on fire.
Yeah,
but
that's where I'm at.
I like looking at different game making tools because I'm not one of those game makers who are like, I'm going to use Unity where I can just program it to do whatever the fuck I want. Or I'm going to learn Unreal and make a first person exploring horror game. Like, no, that's way too much for me.
That's no good. No bueno.
I'm a simple person, and I like simple tools.
Right.
I like to make simple games.
I'm
a practical pig, and I'm so practical.
Yeah, I knew it. Yeah.
Okay.
I knew you were referencing that.
And that game was made in, I think, I think it was Macromedia Fusion. All right. I haven't used that one. It seems just a little too complicated for me. I can't even really wrap my head around it. So I want to pick a tool. I want to talk about it on here. It's going to be a tool for helping you make games.
I want to make games.
Call the segment.
Let's help people make games.
I'm going to call this segment the Game Maker's Toolbox. Does that sound good?
Yep. I think it's perfect, John. I don't think that you need to change it. Some people would say you need to workshop that. I'm going to say nope.
I'm going to say that I subscribe to a YouTube channel that is one word off from
I
that.
think you're full of shit, Rhett.
What are you talking about, Rhett?
Game Maker's Toolbox.
That's going to be our new.
Our
new hot brand we're bringing
to
the table.
All right, Game Maker's Toolbox. We'll trademark that.
God.
All right, so I'm gonna put this here in the chat. It's flick game. We're gonna start real simple.
All right,
because you know what? You don't need fucking complicated tools to make games.
Fuck no.
They can be so simple that I can teach you on this podcast how to use it over the next 2 minutes. So I want you both to open the link.
I'm opening the link right now through my
Brett,
my OBS browser. All right, I'm there.
I'm drawing.
I put it. It's at flickgame.org. All right, cool. You're already drawing a blue thing. Beautiful.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Now, so you're on frame 1. Draw anything on frame 1 with a color.
I'm gonna draw a penis.
All right. Draw a penis.
Okay.
All right. Then go to frame 2.
Frame 2.
And then draw something else.
I'm gonna draw another penis, but it's gonna be bigger. The balls are just gonna be gigantic. That doesn't look like a penis. It looks more like looks more like an ocean. So there's a penis and then there's an ocean. Okay.
Okay. All right, go back to frame 1.
Okay, back to frame 1.
Do you see the line of colors at the bottom where you select the colors?
Yes, I do.
Do you see the little black boxes beneath the colors?
Yes.
All right, click on underneath the color that you used in frame 1.
All right.
And then click 2, the frame that you draw the second drawing
I just did it. Boom. All right.
Yep.
All right.
All right.
Now, export.
Export.
Save the document. Open it. You click on the color in the first frame, and then it goes to frame 2.
Okay, you know what? This is a really good story. I drew a penis in my first frame, right?
And it got bigger.
And then, no, because see, remember, I screwed up when I was drawing it, and then the second one's just a puddle. So my first frame is a penis.
Beautiful.
My second frame is a puddle! I made a jack-off game!
Oh my fucking god. Oh my fucking god. That is some Scott McCloud Understanding Comics transcendent art you just made, Polly. It's the space between the panels. Now we know you have created the jack-off experience. Thank you, Polly.
The one true jack-off experience. Ladies and gentlemen, making games is easy. Don't let anybody tell you it's not.
Making games is fucking easy. Any of you who are listening, you can go make a game right now at flickgame.org. I'm going to post another example game here in the chat. It's so fast that you can play it right now.
Yep.
I'll post it in our Discord.
You could literally make 27 games by the time we finish this episode.
It's true. All right, Rhett and Polly, I want you to play Bad Avocado.
Bad Avocado. I'm going to go play Bad Avocado. Boom.
Now, I want you to know this one is a little...
I finished it.
I did it.
It's a little unsettling.
You're not wrong. This is very unsettling.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's a little unsettling.
Oh, my.
I'm going to... Yeah.
Oh, jeez. That's a bit much. That's a bit much.
This is called Bad Avocado. It is a game in which you push a finger into an avocado and you pull it back and it's like blue and gross inside. And then this is the end with a frowny face.
Look at that.
So,
boom. We've made video games.
All right, so that one was... So that was an Ink Repair game. I'm going to do... Ink Repair made this tool in addition to Puzzle Script, which is another one I love. Mm-hmm. I'm going to do one more.
All right.
This one's called Giraffe.
Giraffe.
Now, this one's a little more substantial.
Okay. Oh, look at this.
Wait, can you do it in the Discord?
Oh, okay, sure. Which tab was that? I have my Understanding Comics by Scott. I was Googling Scott McCloud's name.
I'm climbing, everybody. Look at this. Look at this.
What does the world look like from up there? Everything. Climb up.
You can make very good video games with Flick Game, John.
You can. I'm going to post my favorite Flick game that I made.
All right.
Here in the chat.
Oh, I like this. I know this one.
I guess that's dunking on I really like my Wednesday game too, obviously, but this one I feel like I captured something fundamental about the beauty of the form. Now, all the games I've linked so far have been linear, but you can actually do branching structures here in Flick Game. Granted, you only have 16 drawings.
You got 16.
So it can't be that big. But you can branch it out and tell non-linear, beautiful stories.
Right.
So that's Flick Game, y'all.
Trying to think of an alternate ending to my penis game now. Just like, gosh, like if you click on it and you get a puddle, what else could we add to that? How could we make penis game dynamic?
Let's see. You have to click on the balls first to get things excited. And
there you go.
Shaft. If you don't, then you just get sad.
Okay, we can do that.
There you go. Like
there you go.
Look at that. We have just iterated and improved, ladies and gentlemen. This is how easy making video games is.
Are there
also my spider game is extremely good.
Are there alternate endings in it?
For my spider game, no, there are not.
No,
because I tried clicking around, there did not see any alternate endings.
No, there's that. That has one very obvious and specific ending, catering toward one very specific idea.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, there's only one verb, and it's try to fly away.
Yeah.
And
don't do a very good job of it.
This is Ludo narrative, basic Ludo narrative, something consonants. So now, anyone here could have made a game. You can make one right now.
Yep.
So there you go. That was the first installment of Game Maker's Toolbox.
There you go. Perfect. I cannot wait for the next installment of Game Maker's Toolbox. I hope that this becomes a regular.
I know it's going to sweep the nation.
It is a nice regular. It's nice to have regular segments again. You know, Butt Steam got a little tiresome because who wants to spread negativity? We don't do news anymore because gaming news is really stupid.
Oh man.
So why not put something fun out there in the world, like helping our listeners make video games?
Make a jerk off.
I know.
Make a jerk off game. We want to see your jack off game.
We want to see your
jack off game. We want to see your jack off game. We want to see your jack off game. Jack off game. Jack off game.
Jack off game. Right, join in.
Jack off game. 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 Jack off game.
Not hearing you, Rat. I can't believe you didn't join in.
I represent the chat right now. What the fuck is happening?
I have one more segment.
Oh, you have another segment.
I know. This one is a recurring segment, though.
Oh, we're going back to our recurring segment.
I thought of a name for it.
Oh, you did?
Y'all, and you can. Yep. I'm going to call this the RT Peanut Gallery.
I love it.
Excellent. There we go.
I love it.
All right.
Okay.
All right. I've just got two for y'all today.
Got two. Okay. All right. Let's go.
Scene 5.
Right. Scene 5. Are we ready?
It's important you listen to this one.
All right, we're going.
This is gonna be a little less about all the comments and more about something about the melody.
Oh my god, I know this.
Yeah, it's pretty on the nose, right?
Wow.
Yeah, they just kind of so the song that's playing is Scene 5 from RPG Maker VX Aces OST, and they just completely take the melody from Final Fantasy 1's Corneria.
Yep.
Oh.
That's just literally...
it's so on the nose. It's very funny.
Like, I could go find Corneria right now and play it. It's the exact same fucking tune. Well, like, it's literally note for note.
Yep.
I did scroll down to the comments. They have noticed.
Yes. So most of the comments are Final Fantasy 1 vibe. This sounds like Final Fantasy 1. Heavily inspired by Corneria's theme.
I think heavily inspired is being a little kind and generous.
This reminds me of Dire Docs from Mario 64. Okay.
I mean
Corneria's theme.
All like right, the instrumentation maybe.
Yeah. That's what I see.
We have a couple additions here. Put the wind sound effect with this. Sounds 10 times better. All right. I don't really Oh my god, that is right in my ear. Oh lord.
Yeah,
I hear.
Wasn't doing it for me.
Go ahead, Rhett.
Yeah,
I hear sad reminiscence theme. And then Friend's Death theme for me. And then from Richard Liu 4 years ago.
Okay.
A moment of silence and peace. The war has ended for all of us. Our duties are complete. The gods are with us. We finally saved the world like we sworn from our first battle. Open pren, ending scenes theme, close pren. Girl, Oi! Oni-sama!
Oh no!
No! And then in bold, sighs. And I don't know the journey that Richard went on that got them to make this post. But I feel like we missed a couple steps.
I think
kind of a couple stops along the train of thought.
Maybe people could use Flick Game to make the game that is being described there. To fill in the gap themselves. That could be their homework in Flick Game.
Yes. I'm going to post another song now. This will be this last one.
Okay.
Too strong for us, says June about this post. This one is theme number 1 from RPG Maker VX Ace. Now this one has a specific vibe because it is the default title screen music.
Oh yeah, this is definitely default title screen.
And it's very loud and energetic.
Yep.
For default music. So it kind of hits pretty hard. So you got a bunch of people acknowledging that in the chat. Like, you're an RPG Maker dev when the first 3 seconds of this song are burned into your mind.
Yep.
So glad I eventually muted my test project. Never want to hear this again. Dara Heck says, that's the theme of the Mask of Happiness. The mask hiding all of the angst, agony, and depressing emptiness of all the unfinished tests and games who will lie forever incomplete, rotting in a corner of your hard drive. Now there's one comment that I actually really want to read for all of y'all, and I want you both to contribute with me.
Oh,
That's
God.
from Stephen Lewis from 5 years ago. Please scroll down to the comment that says, my lyrics to this song.
Oh my God.
Oh, nope. I ain't doing it.
Are you sure, Polly? You're very good at reading now.
I do.
You've done all this.
We're not singing
I'll
it.
read the first.
I'm not singing it.
Five different.
Okay,
We
wait.
don't have to sing it. I just want to.
Okay, my lyrics to this song. Okay, I'm there. Okay, I got it. All right, Stephen Lewis, let's hear it.
All right, so there are 5 verses, and we'll trade them back.
All right, we'll just go one after another. John, me, Rhett.
Okay.
All right.
Stephen Lewis says, my lyrics to this song. Don't wait for glory to come to you. You've got to take a chance and move on. No matter the stakes or where you are, you can win if you never give up. Holly?
Danger is waiting everywhere you turn, but you gotta hold your head high and soar higher than
live
any
and
wall
learn.
in your way. Fly through the shining sunlight.
Not knowing what lies up ahead, it always gives me a thrill. As long as I am here with you, my friends, we will defeat one and all.
What's the chorus?
I think
Chorus, whatever that one is.
I think
And then lock up your fears and look to the light and grasp that adventure waiting for you. Friends in excitement the whole way through, facing what lies up ahead. Polly, close it out.
I will not falter to any roadblock on my cruise to glory, nor will I turn away from any challenge, because this is everyone's dream.
I think those last 2 are the chorus.
Okay. God.
Someone replies with, how the fuck are there lyrics for this? And why the fuck does this work? Because it really is just kind of singing. So it clearly sings to Silica there.
Oh yeah, man. I'm taking this to karaoke.
Yep. So that's it. That's RT Peanut Gallery.
Well, I'm glad we got a name for that segment now.
I know, right? I like it.
It's real good. I love it.
And that's it for me for now.
All right. So how about a 5-minute break, everybody?
That sounds good to me.
We will be right back with more regularly scheduled podcasts and all that stuff. Wow.
John really stalling for time there because he has nothing to talk about.
No, he's got plenty to talk about. Mics are live, by the way, Red.
I know.
Okay. Just making sure.
I'm just sad that Siconia didn't land for you. I thought you were way into it.
Man, I like what it's saying. Yeah. I like a lot of what it is saying.
Yeah.
But the story and the characters just aren't there yet.
I just wonder if it...
Yeah.
I wonder if it can get there.
I hope it can, because I think that it's a really good concept, and it's all of the tools for it to succeed are there.
Okay.
Like, I'm really rooting for it. Like, I'm not like, I'm going to buy the second one the day it comes out. Like, just because I gotta know. But, yeah, like, it's rough going on that first chapter.
It's also the 1-2 punch of, it didn't land for me, also 2 just got delayed.
Yeah, like, that was weird. Like, I just found that out last night.
Yeah.
Like, right as I was wrapping it up. I saw right on Twitter, just like it was retweeted like literally 10 minutes after I finished the main story. It's like, oh, it's delayed. I'm like,
yeah,
okay.
I'm back.
Yo, hey, hi.
Okay.
I'm plugging my headphones.
Do what?
Plugging in my headphones.
Oh yeah, you should probably do that. Headphones.
All right, now I'm back.
That's a fun word, isn't it? Headphones. I like that word. Say it. Headphones.
Head, which means oral sex.
Whoa, John. Fucking dial it back, horny man. Jesus Christ. Keep your nasty penis mouth off of my podcast.
What are you guys doing?
What are we doing?
I don't know.
I can tell you what we're doing.
Yeah?
We're throwing to Rhett.
Oh, right. I'm next.
Yeah.
Hey, Rhett.
I don't really have much of anything else because I just played Yakuza for 2 weeks straight.
Oh, yeah? Yeah, well, I don't have much. I don't have much else other than Caconia. So I didn't do anything else for the last 2 weeks.
Well, you actually already did Cold Steel 4, so you've already done your 2 things.
Right.
I've been watching more anime, basically, and keeping up on a few shows week to week.
Jetstorm 4 has made an R18 game and flick game, has he?
Yep. I'm playing it right now, y'all. It is live on itch. And it's beautiful.
It literally just made...
Is it a jerk-off game?
It's a jerk-off game. Somebody will probably jerk off to this. Okay. But that's proof that you can make a video game in just minutes.
Absolutely stellar, Tom. Also, that's just a really good drawing. It's
yeah,
so
that's
animated and has so much personality.
Yeah, but you got that together pretty fast.
Can you throw it in the Discord chat?
Why do you never watch the fucking stream chat, Rhett?
I was, and then I accidentally closed it.
Oh,
it's a chorus game.
Well, why wouldn't it be? You got to work with your brand, Rhett. It's like saying, another I versus Pi.
I am really impressed that
I'm really impressed that came out in like 10 minutes.
Yep. Practice. He's taught a lot of courses.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Thank you, Tom.
I
see the same. Good.
This proves it. You can make a video game in minutes, and it'll be solid. You can go to jetstorm4.itch.io to play the game that Jetstorm 4 just made during this podcast. There you go. So, Rhett, you
I think that Stuck game was also the one that inspired Tom to initially start drawing bondage art on Twitter.
I think so.
Oh gosh.
Mr. Prude.
I'm glad to inspire him yet again.
So,
continue, Rhett.
So are we just gonna throw it back to John then?
No, I was gonna talk about something. You gotta keep interrupting.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was a good interruption, Rhett.
Chorus awaits her fun. I mean, I guess technically eligible for Game of the Year now.
It is. It literally.
Yeah. Absolutely.
When's the last time a game that was created during a podcast ended up on a Game of the Year list? That's something to think about.
Something to think about.
You can think about it for sure. All right. Rhett.
Hi.
Hey!
Been watching more anime.
Yeah, what'd you watch?
As I have. So I've been keeping up on a few shows week to week. First was Higurashi, which very excited for the next episode.
Good. You know what? Like, I know I was poo-pooing it when we got to it, but
yeah,
you know, I got thoughts about this series so far, and they're not 100% positive, but next episode could be a game changer.
Yeah. I'm very interested in what they're doing, and it's weird timing to have a completely accurate remake of the original, as we're all very freshly caught up on the original visual novel.
Yeah, yeah.
So when they make like an oopsie and something was different than it was supposed to be, we're just immediately picking out going, what the fuck?
What is this? Let's overanalyze every frame.
Compare
it to the original show.
I was literally having the original and the remake open at the same time, and then one thing I didn't even notice was different, and I'm just like, huh? Where's Satoko? Why isn't she in that shot? What the fuck?
And why do they mention it? Like, why is that a thing? Why do they very specifically mention that Satoko isn't in that shot?
I don't know where they're going with this, but I'm excited. Still keeping up with Love Live. I feel
like give us the deets.
Yeah, we need deets on this.
I feel like the momentum has slowed down because what they're doing is just giving one girl an episode and then moving on to the next one. Like, there really isn't an overall plot so far, which is like very different from how they've done the previous seasons. But like, so individual episodes are fine on their own, but like, the fact that they're going to do 9 of those in a row and then probably have like a 4-episode finale.
Oh, geez. Story.
Yeah. Because there's a lot of girls in this show. Yeah. So we just had episode 7. So there's still 2 more one-off solo episodes to go.
Did they do Hide My Face Girl?
Yeah, they did her last week.
Okay. Was it a good episode? Does it make sense? Does it make sense why she hides her face? Or is it just like, we needed a gimmick? We need a girl. She has to have a gimmick. And we wrote a bad story around it.
So her gimmick is that she doesn't emote. She can't smile. So it's like, it's kind of a made-up anime problem.
Mm-hmm.
So so it kind of turns into a social anxiety thing for her, where people think she's not having fun when she is because she can't smile. So then she does the bored thing.
You see, like, if this were a series that had any kind of meat to it, I could see them kind of like maybe tackling a real issue with something like that, because there are real world issues that can cause things like that. But I'm sure that this is just haha, funny anime girl cannot smile.
Yeah, pretty much. Okay, so I will give the show one credit though. John is always kind of making fun of the original because it's like, this is Rice Girl, she likes eating rice, and then that's her entire character.
This is Honk Girl, she likes playing the horn.
That was the one piece of character lore I knew about anybody.
I love that that's lore.
The only piece of characterization I knew from Love Live was that there was one girl who really liked rice.
Yeah,
that was the only distinguishing factor I had for any of them.
And we only know that because of Sayara.
But like, that's kind of the vibe I get, especially from the original series, is that everyone just has like their one real obvious gimmick and they don't go beyond that.
Right.
So one of the characters in this was, she's the sleepy girl. She likes to sleep. And like, for 6 episodes, she's just kind of there hanging out and not participating much and sleeping a lot in the background. And then you get to her episode and it's like, oh yeah, she has an absent mom. She like stresses herself out taking care of her younger sister, and then she works a part-time job, and she has college exams coming up.
Jesus Christ! Why is she trying to be in an idol group?
So it's like, oh, okay, there's a reason she's fucking tired and sleeping.
Right.
So like, I appreciate that the gimmick was not just haha sleepy girl. It's like, oh,
that's cool.
And then I picked up another show that I got caught up on called Talentless Nana.
Uh-oh.
So the premise of the show was really simple. And there's really there's 2 ways to describe it. I'll do the one that I was told first. It's My Hero Academia plus Among Us. It's a school with a bunch of kids with superpowers. And then one of them
is a traitor.
Is a traitor and wants to kill them all.
Okay.
So the other way you can also kind of see. Also, they're on an island, so it gives me a lot of Danganronpa 2 vibes.
Right.
So even though the characters in Danganronpa don't really have superpowers, they do all have like their one real overpowering gimmick.
Mm-hmm.
And then also there's a traitor among them.
Oh, good. That's fine.
So the character in this show is Nana. She doesn't actually have a power. She's talentless.
She's talentless.
But she's lying and saying that she can read minds.
Oh.
So she's very smart and observant, so she's able to bullshit her way through it because everyone in the show is really dumb.
Oh, okay. You'd have to be, right?
Yeah. Realistically, they could immediately see through her, but they're very dumb.
She's not going to go to the school for ultimate students and be able to fool anybody. So it's good that she ended up in brain dead school.
Yeah. So this show really wants to be Death Note, basically.
Oh.
Because it's like they even do the thing where when it's in her internal thoughts, the screen tints red.
Yes.
And then there's the one smart character who is onto her bullshit. When he thinks the screen turns blue. So it's like the show is frustrating because everyone's really stupid and like that doesn't work for, the cat and mouse kind of stuff that Death Note is known for.
Yeah.
And it's not cathartic in the way where it's like you want to root for her.
It's not fun when you outsmart idiots.
Yeah, it's fun if she's outsmarting them and doing her murder.
Yeah.
But it's like the fact that she keeps fucking up and basically being busted immediately by the one smart boy has been just very frustrating. But like, there's still something compelling because it is such a fun premise and you just want her to succeed.
Right. But
like, also the show accidentally or maybe intentionally had a few horny moments that I want to talk about with John.
Uh-oh.
She does. So there's... I'm having trouble describing the scene because it was so blindingly stupid. Where, like, she's in her dorm room, and the smart boy is just sitting outside of it because he knows she's going to try to sneak out to murder somebody. Like, he's just straight up on her.
Right.
So he's just sitting there. She jumps out the window, runs into somebody else's dorm room, shouts, "There's an enemy," and then stabs herself.
Oh, Jesus!
And then the person is just like had their back turned when she stabbed herself, and they're like, "I didn't see anything. I guess the enemy was just invisible." And then the smart boy comes in and is just like, "You don't seriously expect me to fall for this, right?"
Oh my god.
You just ran up and stabbed yourself. Also, the girl she did that in front of happened to be the healer. So it worked out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, good. That could be a real problem if she wasn't a healer.
Yeah. So it's like, but it's just like the chain of events was just so incredibly silly.
It's utterly stupid.
And then there's like one of the other people she's trying to assassinate he sees the future via photographs.
Mm-hmm.
So she takes a couple photos that are fake. She puts a rope around her neck and takes her clothes off.
Oh, Jesus.
To make it look like she was murdered.
What? Okay.
And she fools him with it. Because he's like, "Oh, well, my photos never fail me, so I know now that you're not the killer because you're going to die as well."
Wow.
Because I've got a photo of you dead here.
Everybody's stupid!
Everybody's very stupid.
So wait, the main character is the traitor? Just to be clear?
Yeah.
See, that's actually...
So yeah, if you want to catch all of that, I guess you have to listen to the archive for...
Yeah, guess you're just going to have to.
So, anime, it's pretty good.
You're a big fan. You like Japanese cartoons sometimes.
I do like them sometimes.
I got you. I can
Molly,
respect that. What else have I done? I got literally nothing else.
Okay. I don't think John has anything else, so I guess that's a podcast.
John, do you have anything else? John?
Sure.
All right. Let me get into my Gendo Akari pose here. Hit the old.
Do we have to content warning the rest of the podcast?
All right. So, John, I'm going to need you to be a dear and get a content warning the rest of this podcast, just in case. Can you do that for me?
Absolutely. So
all right.
I wasn't going to bring this up at all. And then I was peer pressured before the podcast.
Right.
Like, no, John. Obviously, you need to give everybody an exhaustive media update of your experiences.
Well, you didn't play anything else this 2 weeks.
Yep,
that's true.
You got to have something to talk about on a podcast, John.
I was gonna watch. What was A Silent Voice? I was gonna watch A Silent Voice like today or yesterday. Like, okay,
it's a good movie. I like it.
And then it was like 3:00 today, and I was like, well, I haven't watched A Silent Voice.
Oh no! Oh no!
So it goes. I did think of the 2 segments, so I had something.
You've really come through.
I played a shit ton of porn games, and I want to talk about.
All right.
It's very interesting.
All right.
Viewer discretion is advised, says Poncho. Yes. Content warning, rape. There's a lot of that in this one.
Yep. If you want to skip the rest of this episode, by the way, you're more than welcome to do so. If that's going to be your case, we thank you for listening, of course, and we urge you to drop us a Game of the Year list if you can. So yeah, content warnings, John. Let's hit it.
This is the Sockscast After Hours.
Yep.
And try to handle it more responsibly than in the past. So I just played a shit ton. So basically, like 5 years ago, I watched the Rants OVA, Quest for Hikari, which is a 4-episode adaptation of the remake of the first Rants game, and the very first Rants game came out in 1989.
Yeah, this series goes way back.
Yep. So I watched that and actually really loved it, because it was like one of the only hentai cartoons I've ever watched that had like energy and was funny and like actually compelled me to watch it all the way through instead of just skipping around.
I liked Dragon Pink. I thought was pretty funny, and Magical Twilight.
I think duly noted.
Those are my
more retro.
Yeah,
vibe.
those are my actual funny. And F3 is really funny as well. I reviewed F3.
All right, so Dragon Pink F3. I can share I have my Demon King General DM group with the friends that I've been yapping about the stuff with. You said Magical View.
Magical Twilight.
Magical Twilight.
Those are the ones that I have immediately I own.
So I started E7 on the day of our podcast, and I was like, this will do it. This is what I need to get through election week. I'm gonna play a nice, comforting ease game, and that's gonna be my light in the darkness. And then on Tuesday, I did what I've done probably every 7 or 8 months since 2015 or so, which was do a deep wiki dive of Alice Soft, the creator of Rants, and their general work and the history of Rants. Because it's very funny and interesting to me that there is a series of porn RPGs that has been going since the 1980s with a continuous story.
Yeah, this just... I knew of Rants, obviously. I knew what it was. I just didn't know that it was so goddamn nuanced and that it was this ongoing story that just, wow. There's dedication there that the devs have for that series that I'm honestly in awe of.
And it ended. They actually had the end of the ongoing continuous story with Rants 10 in 2018.
Wow.
Which is very fucking cool.
It's
all right, we have reached the climax of ease. We are going to have the climax of ease now.
I can't not think of this as East adjacent.
It really is. E started in 87.
Yeah.
They're very contemporaries.
It feels like evil ease. That is a strong
evil ease. Okay.
Red.
Adolf versus Rants.
I want a fanfic that's just Adol and Rants talking in a bar, and Adol just gradually being like, "God, I fucking hate this guy's guts."
or man, I should have fucked more.
Either it could go
either way.
Rance is just like, hey, give me that Dana chick's number.
Oh no!
No!
Oh no!
So I had an unusual arc with it where I watched the OVA and got exposed to it through there. Mm-hmm. And I also read the CRPG Addict review of the very, very first game from 1989. He's this blogger I follow who is playing every single computer RPG ever.
Oh, wow.
Oh, my God.
Chronologically.
Oh, this is a porn one,
And he got to Rance, and he watched, and he read it, and he despised it. And he thought it was very loathsome. And if you read that review, it is scathing and very justified. It's very much like, yep, that's right. That's correct.
That is probably a correct set of emotions to have when dealing with this type of material.
Mm-hmm. Whereas that was my arc, but then a lot of other people's arc is that they played Sengoku Rants, which is the 7th game.
Right.
That was the first one to be fans translated, and it apparently became very popular on 4chan around its release. That's where Reddit heard from.
I remember seeing those threads constantly on the Japanese forum.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, I'm here for the Toho, but you guys keep talking about rants. Go ahead.
And ever since then, every single preceding Rants game before Sengoku has been translated. Mm-hmm. They still have not translated Rants 8, 9, or 10. And apparently Sengoku Rants ends on a cliffhanger.
Oh, no.
So Trails FC had to wait 5 whole years to see the conclusion of that one. Sengoku Rants fans have been waiting almost 14 years.
Jesus Christ.
8 is in beta testing. The translation is completed. It is on its way out. There's a handful of fan translators who have been with the series for a long time, including translating all the ones that came out before Sengoku Rants after the fact.
Isn't Manga Gamer handling this now too?
Manga Gamer announced that they were releasing Rants 1, the remakes of Rants 1 and 2. They're re-releasing Sengoku officially, releasing 8, 9, and 10. They've announced all of them.
So, man, Manga Gamer has come a really long way in 10 years. From officially working in an official capacity with Ryukishi 07 to going back and pulling something like this. And things like Kindred Spirits on the Roof. They are really kind of a premier visual novel force in the West that I never saw happening. Because when I worked with them, it was it was a pretty, it was rough.
The person that's translated a bunch of them is Tulip Goddess Maria, who's on Twitter. And this was the funny thing. I did my wiki dive. And I was reading about Rants like you do, just all the time.
Yeah, how do you not?
And I read 2 things that made me laugh. One of them was this person going, the scope and scale of the stories in these games vary widely, with 5D being one of the smaller ones and 6 being one of the big ones. But at their best, the characters and world building are among the most effective you can find in an RPG. I've played some embarrassing number of JRPGs at this point, and the only comparable series I could offer up are the Trails games.
Oh, man.
Oh, my God.
Eat your heart out, Zemurian Arc.
Eat your heart out what?
Eat your heart out, Zemurian Arc. Jesus Christ. Oh.
I also really like the story of Rants 5D, which came out 6 or 7 years after the game that came between 4 and 5. And it's called 5D because they had 3 separate aborted attempts at a Rants 5 that all got canceled.
I love that's how it ended up with that name.
And here's how they decided to return to this 4th project. They said, in contrast to their initial grand ambitions, the new project was made following a very specific set of guidelines. 1, it will be completed no matter what. 2, it will return to the series' simpler roots that were established in Rants 1 and 2. 3, it will be a mechanically unusual RPG. 4, it will be small in scale. 5, it will be
stupid. That's my favorite part.
Yeah.
It's that is in the document for every game that I make. That number 5. It's always number 5.
Fucking goals.
Yeah.
4, it will be small scale. 5, it will be stupid.
Yep, that's my goal for everything.
So tonally, I think a big comparison that we would draw in this group specifically is Konosuba.
Right.
Because these games are very much very comedic.
Yeah.
The ones I've been playing. This is the thing also is that I was in this deep wiki dive, and then I found out that 3 days earlier they had Manga Game had released its translations of 1 and 2.
Oh,
and
wow.
The remake of 1 was the game that OVA I watched was based on.
Oh, wow.
And I was like,
it's literally Providence. It's Providence.
It's been 5 years. I know I just started E7. I'm going to come home today. I'm going to, on election night, I'm going to put my phone in the other room. And I'm going to download Rants 01, The Quest for Hikari, and play it for 5 hours. And I did exactly that.
I
love that both of us have election day binge games.
Yeah. It's really good.
Yep. And I just kept it going, and I kept it going, and I played it for a week straight and freaked the fuck out about it because it brought me so much joy.
That's good.
Oh man, this was by far the most fun I've ever had with a porn game.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think is saying a lot.
I think that is because I can't think of a porn game that I've played where I've thought, oh, I had a lot of fun with that, because porn games are generally not that good.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that it's like. Go ahead, Rhett.
There seems to be a lot of game and character here. It's not just the porn.
Yeah.
Mm.
Uh-oh.
This was a remake of the original, and this was a transformative remake. They drastically upped the scale.
Okay.
They kept the main story the same, which is that Rance arrives at is trying to rescue a lost girl named Hikari, and that is a guild quest that he is trying to make money from. So he goes to this city, and he just has to run, and he runs around the city talking to everybody and doing actual and this is all presented as an adventure game where you run to different places, talk to people, and then follow up on leads, and then you gradually get to the center of this conspiracy, at the center of this kingdom of Lizas, and find Hikari, and looking for Hikari. He arrives with his slave Syl, who is completely adorable and perfect, and he just bullies and assaults her the whole game.
Yay!
There we go.
Yep.
I felt like the shoe. Felt like the shoe had to drop immediately.
Yeah.
It's when you said he and his slave, and I'm like,
slave.
Wait, what?
And then it gets worse with every word.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And the comic idea behind the Rant series is that they wanted a RPG hero that would be just the opposite of the traditional heroic ideals.
I get you.
Of the RPG hero.
I get that.
So the approach is that he is essentially like the opposite of like Adol or whatnot.
Yeah.
Where he is self-centered and a bully
and
mean.
talks.
And what?
And he talks.
And talks all the time, yeah. And almost all of the smut scenes are extremely non-consensual. And there is an assault button on the screen.
Oh, God! There's an assault prompt. Jesus. Ugh.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh. Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh, gives you a feeling there, doesn't it? Ooh.
Gives you a feel. Yeah, I didn't want to bring it up. I thought I maybe shouldn't bring it up. But
yeah, it's a,
here now. We're in this.
We're good. We're
all in this together.
We're in the
safe.
lurch.
It's a safe space.
It's good. It's fine. We are here willingly.
Mm-hmm. And the practical effect of this and a lot of other porn games, which is kind of funny, is that there's like almost no men characters.
Right.
So even though you are playing as this reprehensible, awful dude, the practical effect is that you're playing a series of games where you are surrounded by absolutely amazing girlfriends, just wonderful lady characters that are just like as endearing to me as a lot of Falcom characters.
Oh my God!
That's something we say going
oh
into
my
Falcom
God!
Games.
There's a Chloe in
not
this
in the
story.
fighting sense, but just in that immediate gut, like, oh, she's a wifey.
I like you.
Boy.
I definitely get that every time you post a screenshot.
Yeah, every time
somebody,
you post,
I'm like, I love her.
There's been some good images. I'm not
green
gonna
hair.
lie.
I love her.
Yeah, there you go.
Here, I found a good GIF of green hair. Yeah, let me post that for you, Rhett.
Wait, what kind of GIF are we talking about?
innocent, nice gift. But yeah, they're all wonderful, and you're really mean to all of them.
Oh man,
is this from the game or the OVA?
I don't know.
Oh,
I don't know where that one's from. The OVA, she's from 2. I don't know why she would be in the OVA, but
yeah.
Okay, so it could be from any of the games basically, but not the first one.
Mm-hmm. So the arc in that first game is essentially that you get to the root of where Hikari was taken, and it turns out there is a serial murderer in Lizas who is kidnapping girls and torturing and killing them.
That's not
and
good.
Rance does not like that, because people that are killing girls are hurting, wasting the world's assets, I think were his words.
Oh my good lord. Oh man,
He's
what a guy. What a guy.
Yeah, and you find the ghost, of one of the people that died, and he's like, "Oh, I will stop the person that did this."
The potential for ghost sex is interesting, but it doesn't happen.
And then
that's why he's pursuing this quest of justice, because he couldn't fuck the ghost girl.
And he says, "When you're reincarnated, you can thank me with sex."
Presumably
after.
Wow, well, thank you. Much appreciated, Mr. Rance.
And it turns out that the person torturing and killing people is the princess of Lizas. Oh. So that's the whole climax of the game, is chasing her down and punishing her for being evil. Doing all these
punishing her.
Yeah.
Punishing her.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Gotcha.
Hey, John showed me some of that punishment.
Is it... Okay. What would you rate that punishment on a 1 to 10 scale?
It depends on a couple of factors.
Fucking 11.
Oh, okay. Well, okay, so for me, that would probably be about a 4.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is very basic, dumb porn.
Yeah. I respect it for being that. Like, that's ugly. Fine. If you're gonna be that, like, dude, dive in. Do it.
Mm-hmm. And it really resonated. It's basically just like, it's so overt, where Rance is such an asshole and such a creep, and with a lot of other VNs that are horny and have dicey.
Like other VNs are trying to, I guess, make their protagonists not really likable. Nice guys. Like when they get something, when they get the prize, which is always pussy, like they deserve it. Mm-hmm. Like you put in the time. Yeah. You earned it. Whereas this is just very out and out. Like I can see how it is adjacent to something like Konosuba. Like if Konosuba was allowed to be as vulgar and disgusting as it might seem on the surface, I could see it going down that hole. Whereas Kazuma is actually just kind of an inept rant.
Yeah, exactly. It is the dynamic of scenes like Kazuma stealing underwear with his magic stealing power, and everyone going yes. or episode 9, like that is extremely representative.
Okay,
of Rance's whole sense of humor.
Right.
So practically the whole arc of these games is a series of rape jokes. Like just speaking honestly.
Yeah, just like you got to call it as you see it, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And which is again just very different from being like my touch point in my head was Tsukihime a lot, because that is just like, oh, but he's a nice guy, really. He's really just being he's really just being magically mind controlled into assaulting people.
See,
it's not his fault.
That's why I can at least look at something like Rance and say it's being honest about what it is, whereas Tsukihime is trying to very purposefully cloud the fucking issue. And that's why Tsukihime, that's why Fate and Tsukihime piss me off. If you want my honest answer, is because they're not being honest and forthright about what they're trying to be, and there's justification where you shouldn't be trying to justify. Whereas something like Rance, it's just being fucking honest about what it is. It's just pure trash, and it's not trying to pretend it's something it's not.
Mm-hmm. He is just absolutely reprehensible.
Yes,
that is his whole deal.
Yeah.
and so there are a bunch of stories aimed at dudes that are about ultimately like saving and possessing the princess, basically.
Yeah.
That are like that kind of dynamic, and that most of them are try to get insidious about it because they want to fill that urge, but like, but we're really being thoughtful and feminist or whatnot about it, I guess. I don't know. And that's not what Prince is doing. And the fact that it does that so over the top and overtly gives it a lot of funny energy as porn. I think as if it was just like as a story, it wouldn't fly at all.
If it was trying to
fact that it is tying that with actually just being porn, I think.
This is why I was totally fine with you talking about rants, is that like I know what this is doing. And it's not trying to obfuscate the issue. It's very honest about what it is, and like I admire that. Like if you just want the horny, if you just think like look, if you want to think like the rape stuff is funny or the way that it's presented and framed, and all that, like that's fine. Just be honest about it. That's all. Like that's always been my thing. It's like just be honest about it. If that's like what it is, and that's what Rants seems to be doing magnificently.
For 10 games.
So I finished 1 and immediately went and played all of the remake of 2.
Yeah.
Which came out before the remake of 1 and actually does not really change the mechanics. It just adds to the script a little bit. And then updates the art.
Cool.
So I was like, okay, this feels a little more dated. I'm probably not expecting much about this. But it actually really explores the relationship between Syl and Rance in a way that I really enjoyed.
Which is interesting.
They're separated early on in the story, and Syl winds up with a really nice knight who basically seems like Adol, essentially.
And
then he's like...
He's blue! He's blue! They changed him to blue because he's supposed to be the Adol stand-in.
And he's just like... He gives her plenty of food. He compliments her. He thanks her when she does a nice thing. She's like, "Whoa, that's weird." And then they just go together throughout this dungeon. And then meanwhile, Rance meets up with a top bi lady who absolutely matches him beat for beat, and who wants to bone him. And then they bone and match each other beat for beat. And then and then torment the other ladies together, and it's a lot,
right?
And then they meet. What do you say?
What is the subtitle of the second game?
Rants 2: The Rebellious Maidens.
Oh yeah.
And you have to track down each of the 4 rebellious maidens who have tormented this town, and remove their magic rings that give them lots of power.
Gotcha.
And which is also linked to their virginity. Just magically.
Oh, of course! Didn't know about that.
Of course.
Yeah. 1990.
1990, baby.
I've been playing playing both of these games beat for beat with Cecil, which has been very fun. Because she played the original version.
Yeah.
And I played the updated version, so we got to compare. And then it actually like goes really hard at the end. Like where there's a complete fake out final boss of 2, and then it like has a party and has a resolution, and then the true villain reveal comes up, and it's actually really dramatic. And of course, Syl and Rance have a touching reunion, and then it turns out that the Adol boy is like telling her, Rance is just mean to you. I don't understand. Why do you like him? You need to be with me. You should be with me. Let's get married after this. And it's like, okay, so
you're a nice guy.
You're your own flavor of creep, huh? You just want to possess her.
Oh,
the same way Rance does.
Yeah, it's real weird.
And it's kind of tasty. It's like a really interesting little dynamic there.
Yeah, I can see that.
So, and then I immediately started 3. And that is the original 1991 release, because the remake of 3 has not come out yet. It's the only one that doesn't have a planned localization announced yet. And I'm about halfway through that one.
Okay.
And I did not expect it to be immediately fun and high energy, because it was a 1991 Dojin PC porn game.
Right.
And I'm just having a blast so far. It just is flowing really well. End of the first dungeon is that you receive a quest to rescue a lady from a monster, and then you get to the end of the dungeon, and it turns out the monster and the lady are in love.
Oh.
And they're actually ran away together, to be together. And Rance is like, "Oh, that's weird." And then he kills the monster, and she goes, "No!" And then assaults the lady, and it's like,
I mean, yeah, of course, yeah.
You say something like that, and I'm just like, "Oh, actually, I'm back off board."
Yeah, that is the dynamic.
That's the reaction. Yeah, that's yeah.
There's a joke. There is a joke where they need to get the nectar of a unicorn, and the only person that can approach a unicorn is a virgin,
of course,
and is a virgin woman. And then Rance looks around at the party, and it's like 6 ladies. And throughout the last 2 games, he has mostly non-consensually had sex with all of them.
Of course.
And they're like, and they just kind of look at him like,
well.
I guess we're in a bad pickle now, Rance. Thank you. So that is the general arc of the sense of humor. And again, this is all presented in the form of a PC RPG.
Yeah.
In like 1991.
Yeah.
Which is. It makes a lot, like, leveling is a canonical in-universe thing.
Much like Konosuba.
Much like Konosuba. It's so much like Konosuba.
Yeah.
They even introduced, like, the Archfiends as being, like they're introducing that in the 3rd game.
Like, Konosuba is definitely influenced by Rance. Yeah. Just look at Kazuma's design.
Yeah.
Like, it's way similar.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's just a lot there.
I think the main difference is that, Konosuba is a lot happier to kick the shit out of Kazuma.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
and have him lose and have him never succeed.
Yeah.
And I think and also so that's kind of I think that's what makes Konosuba ultimately feel so nice.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the arc so far. I have 4 downloaded. I have 5 and 6 in the mail.
So wait, what is 4?
Yeah. 4 is another. So 1 and 2 are adventure games with light RPG elements, and they're like 5 to 10 hours. And then 3 is like a 10 to 15 hour fuller RPG with an actual world map. And then I assume 4 gets even bigger.
Okay, because on Wikipedia,
and then go ahead.
On Wikipedia, there's Rance 4, Legacy of the Sect, and then there's Rance 4.1, and then there's Rance 4.2. There's like 3 games.
So there's Rance 4, which is the big game, and then 4.1 and 4.2, which are like little episodic side games.
Okay.
That tell stories that aren't really essential to the overall arc.
Okay.
And then they release the big grand strategy game where Rance becomes king. Called Brutal King Rance.
Oh, good.
And that was so wildly popular that it kind of catapulted Atlas off to stardom.
Oh,
and they failed to follow up on it for 7 years. And then
damn.
And then they did 5D, they did
5D.
6, they did Sengoku, which was another grand strategy game, and then they did 8, 9, and 10.
Just like that series, man. It's a series of 3s.
Yep. So that's the whole arc of it. I'm having a very good time.
Sounds like it.
I would not. It is not at a point where if the idea of the this sort of indulgent fantasy of just being an absolute raging creep, I guess. Not like that's not something I want to do, obviously.
No, obviously. No.
But I feel like it feeds the same urge as a lot of indulgent media like Fate or whatnot. Except it's just doing it very straightforwardly and comically and with a lot of high energy.
Yeah. It's being loud and stupid about it.
Yeah. And if that does not appeal at all, it is not at a point where I'd be like, well, even if you don't like Rance, the world building and the gameplay are just so good.
Very, very specifically have to say, like, this, like, look, man, if rape jokes aren't your thing, you're not going to get anything out of this.
When you put it like that, it makes me sound a little monstrous. But again, this is a safe space. We're all good here.
It's a safe space. We're fine. Like, it's not what I mean, obviously.
We're all fine. I know. So
I think my biggest disappointment with the Rant series myself, you never get the fuck Alice. I want that forbidden mascot character sex.
Mascot character for Alice.
I want that forbidden mascot character sex. That's what I want. Like, how do you have like a nice looking mascot like that and not get to fuck her? Like, that's what I want.
Remember when I was in the middle of one, I told you that if a person like Polly showed up in the Rants universe, it would just fall apart. It wouldn't function. And then in the second game, they introduced Millie, who tops the hell out of Rants, and then tops the hell out of Maria, and never actually like gets a comeuppance, I guess, like a lot of the all the other sadistic toppy
comeuppance. Comeuppance.
John said of Rants 3, it's flowing really well, and nobody said anything.
But
fair.
Near the beginning of Rants 3, you meet this girl outside of a mine, and Rance is like, "You should have sex with me because you're cute." And she says, "I have a boyfriend, and I would rather die than have sex with you." And he's like, "Ah, okay." And then you come back later to the same dungeon, and then Millie's there and has completely wrapped this girl around her little finger, saying, "Oh, it's okay if we have sex because we're both girls, so it's not cheating."
I think I see
You're my cute little pet, aren't you?
I think I would prefer Millie Quest.
Yeah.
And that particular quest line ends with her topping the hell out of Rance yet again. And it's like, oh, this is wholesome. No, it's not, but it's nice.
Yeah.
So there is one lady who's permitted so far to just be on Rance's level, essentially.
That's good.
Meaning being a mega predator is what I'm saying.
Right.
All right.
I knew you could do it, John.
I felt bad for saying that she was your Rance Sona.
I'm not bothered. I'm not bothered. You did it, John. You did it. Fucking proud of you.
I did it. Are we okay?
We're good.
Everything's so good?
I think we're all good.
I think we're all good. And the good thing is we have a small listener base. And we have a giant library of podcasts. So nobody can
pinpoint episode 127.
There you go.
I mean, or the Game of the Year podcast.
There you go.
God.
I
guess this opens up the door to bring it up there, huh?
Got some choices to make, boy.
I want you to
Higurashi or Rance?
Higurashi's one game. You just said so. So that's only one spot. You've got 9 more for 3 Rance games.
Or plus.
At this point in time.
3. So I'm having a ball, and again, 8, 9, and 10 aren't out yet.
Right.
That's gonna be like I could conceivably catch up, and then be like avidly anticipating the releases of the next ones.
And be
like, hey y'all, guess what came out?
We got a whole new saga for the Sockscast.
Oh my god.
So that's obviously the dream, because like Kingdom Hearts didn't pan out.
Oh my god.
Atelier didn't pan out. Tales remains to be seen. But Rance seems to be really clicking.
We got Rance. It seems to have clicked really well. Rance and Trails.
And Simple Gear. For Red exclusively.
Oh, I was like, oh yeah, John, you did say you were going to get to Access soon, like 2 months ago.
Yeah, sometime.
Yeah.
John, I'm patient.
You're patient. Red is patient. Red is kind.
I do want to remind you, though, John, that I do have a big red button sitting here, and it does say I watched Sword Art Online 2 for you.
Oh God. No, I watched GX. That was that.
No,
that was our deal.
You watched GX on your own. I did not hit the button.
That was the button. We completely resolved that.
I disagree. but I'm not going to hit it for X's. So you're good. Just
John over here thought that he was. John over here thought that he was apologizing for Satoshi. Oops.
Just one of these days, one of these days, John, you'll get back to Xenogears, and you'll play that for like 20 hours and be bored out of your mind.
Oh, get out of here.
And then Symphogear will be there for you again.
Mm-hmm. I'll get there. I'll get back to
like a lovely bit of sunshine.
Zach says, John, a month ago, Heartcatch Precure is good and cute so far.
Ranch bucks!
That's John. This is why I told you to finish Precure, so that you could get back to Symphogear. I don't think you caught that.
I did not catch that. I thought you just really wanted to hear about how Heartcatch Precure resolves.
No.
There's a line of there's an extended dev commentary for each game, and at one point they just bring up off the cuff like that they went and saw the two of the devs. Ed Rance went and saw the Pretty Cure movie, and they apologized to all the other people in the theater who had to see like two 30-year-old men just like chilling there.
Oh my god!
I like the one where the dev talked about having diarrhea for a month. That was funny.
There are a lot of very good quips and jokes. I brought the one that you pointed out was an actual joke. Was that the Adol character
is blue
gives Syl a sweet potato when and it's like, hey, and then proceeds to, for the rest of the dungeon, give a sweet potato to every subsequent character you run into.
Yeah, like that's actually a legitimately fucking hilarious gag.
Mm-hmm. Like you rescue these girls from the torture dungeon run by the main villain, and then he's like, hey, here, have a sweet potato. And the other joke that made me laugh was that you see Syl in the park feeding a very cute puppy. And she's like, oh, he's so nice. Maybe I could ask Master if we can get a puppy. And then Rance walks up and stomps on the puppy. And it has a little 100, like the score from Super Mario Brothers. And she's like, no, Master, you're stepping on him. And then he keeps stomping on the dog. And it goes 200, 400, 800, 1600, 8,000, one up.
Oh my god. We're going to hell.
I was going to joke, and then I was going to joke. Rance walks up and kicks the puppy, but I thought that would be too on the nose.
Oh God, we're going to hell. It's over. It's over.
It's over. All right.
Speak for yourself. Done. I am pure over here.
Pure boy rat.
Yep. Pure of heart.
Okay. Are we good? Are we good? Are we done?
Are we good?
Are we done?
We're done. I'm spent, y'all. I'm just
yeah. John just making every innuendo possible.
Every single innuendo, just throw it in.
I'm having a blast. I'm spent. I am finished.
So, once again, if you would like to take part in our Game of the Year extravaganza coming up, we need you to pick 3 games. They don't have to be released this year. Write a bit about them. Write a little bit. Just a little bit. Just a tiny bit.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit. Couple two tiny paragraphs.
Don't even call them a paragraph. Just a couple sentences.
Just a couple sentences will be fine. We got you. Again, they don't have to be released this year. If you played it this year, it's good. Write that up and send it to podcast@socksmakepeoplesexy.net. And if you would like to tell us what your top 3 games of the year are with your own beautiful voice, do the same thing. Pick 3 games, talk about each game for a bit, wrap that up as an MP3, and shoot it on over to podcast@socksmakepeoplesexy.net. We need those by noon on December 13th. When do we need them, Rhett?
By noon on December 13th.
John, when do we need those again?
By noon on December 13th.
All right. And we'll be reminding you next episode as well. We've only got a couple of regular episodes. Like, we've only got, what, like 1, 2?
One more.
We got,
I think one more.
Yeah, I think we've only got 1 regular episode left this year, which will be on December 6th. So that'll be our last normal podcast of the year.
Yes, because of Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Oh, we're not doing the 29th?
Like, wait a minute.
Okay.
Probably not. I don't think we are. Unless we is anybody going to be in town on the 29th?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, yeah. The 29th won't work.
I won't be.
Yeah. So the next time we get together will be on December 6th, and that will be our final live episode of the year. And then we'll be doing Game of the Year and Album of the Year stuff December 13th or so. So thanks again, everybody, for listening, for coming out, all that fun stuff. Thank you very much, especially for the bits and subs tonight. We're really very generous tonight. Perhaps overly generous, but it is always very much appreciated. John Thayer, where can the internet folks at home find you?
Hell.
Yeah, that's probably about it. Well, Rhett.
Watch Simple Gear.
And you can find me at twitch.tv/Eric's Joystick.
You wrote a song about it.
I wrote a song about it. Want to hear it? You can. Just stick around. And remember, we're the podcast that loves you. We're the only ones that love you. And that's a show! We did it. All right. So I'm going to find somebody to host. And then we're going to get you all on out of here. So let's see. Who we sending people over to today? Who's streaming?
Anybody streaming rants?
No, I doubt it. I doubt it.
No, they make streaming friendly releases.
Oh, they do.
Holy shit.
Let's see. Yep. Rants. Anybody's?
I would not blindly host somebody that is willingly streaming rants.
It doesn't look.
My opinion.
Don't jump over to a rando.
I'm looking, and I don't see anybody streaming rants. So.
And it just came out.
Yeah, weird, man. Okay, so who be streaming? Let's see.
I will say I saw the translator of these games talk about Evenicle, which is the other big Alisoft game that's coming out on Steam, actually. And she specifically characterized it as if you like the vibe, the Alisoft vibe, but don't like Rance's character. Evenicle is about a boy that is very horny and wants to marry a bunch of girls, but is totally a sweetheart.
Oh, nice well, there you go, Evenicle.
So he knows what he wants, but he's extremely nice about how he gets it.
There you go.
And I think that's very nice.
I'm gonna send everybody over to my friend Cyphrin. He is playing Demon's Souls on his PlayStation 5, and Cyphrin's been good pal to me, so I'm gonna send everybody over to Cyphrin. So everybody give him a follow, show him some love. Hop on that raid train. Remember, you stick around, you get 250 extra points towards your next Neepaw, which is probably where it'll go next. And we will catch you tomorrow evening for Higurashi, more than likely.